3. We are live, everybody. We are live on the R.A.U.L.I radio show, everybody. That's what it stands for at the top of the screen if you're watching the replay. Rebooting and uniting lost energy, everybody. This show debuted June 6th, 2023, and we go live on the R.A.U.L.I radio show every Tuesday night from 8:30 to 10:30. Tonight, we want y'all to call in. We want you to burn these lines up with your thoughts, your experiences, because tonight it's about police brutality. Police brutality. I've posted it all over the place. I even posted in police brutality and Blue Lives Matter groups, and I posted it all over the place. So I'm hoping for a lot of feedback tonight. But with no more further ado, we're gonna get to our sponsors and then to the show. This show is brought to you by Wagons Fold, the best wagon, the best baby stroller in the world. Go to wagonsfoldusa.com and shop for your baby stroller. Shop for your next baby shower for your loved ones. Shop wagonsfoldusa.com. Thank you. Now to the show. This is the R.A.U.L.I radio show.
What's up, y'all? How's everybody doing?
What's up?
All right, we about to get in. Malk, how you doing, my man?
I'm pretty good. I was telling Brooklyn when you stepped out of the room, I'm just eager to get this hip surgery done, man.
Yeah.
And I'm not used to this being stiff and weak.
Yeah.
I can't bend over at the waist and squat. I can't pick nothing up. I'm used to being Superman, you feel me? And I can't be Superman right now, but I'll get back there as soon as I get this hip replacement.
Oh, I dig it.
Other than that, hey man, business is business. Trying to get there.
I dig it. Sister Brooklyn, how you doing?
I'm doing well. How you doing
I'm
this
doing
evening?
good. I'm doing good.
Good.
I'm good. Hope y'all ready for a dope show. It actually came because I was talking to you on the phone and you had told me about that Philly.
Mm-hmm.
You told me the brothers out there are real nice too. I remember you said that.
Yeah, I never said that. never said that.
You said it was a great place to grow up. They're real polite.
Never said that.
Oh, that wasn't what you said?
Nah, I actually said something quite different. Philly is a special, shout out to Philly. Philly's a special little place. I lived there for 3 weeks and I never have to live there again. So let that be known.
Wait a minute, Miss Brooklyn. Wait a minute. So you trying to tell me Philly is not the city of brotherly love, like they say?
I mean, they believe it, and it depends on how you love your brother. There's a lot of different ways to love people. I'm just saying.
So none of the love was evident.
The love is evident, but the Chucky doll type of love. you might get a little yink. It was a strange experience. I was at work, and some girl came rolling around looking for a patient, and I was like, I knew exactly why they was there, asking if she was there, and I was like, nah. I knew exactly why they came there. And they waited for her. She came out of her appointment, and they proceeded to jump on her in the dental office. And
in the dental office.
Yeah, I said, this is not going to be the place for me. Sorry, it's not my steez at all. It's a lot going on there. But recently, the conversation had been brought about because a young man received some shots and has left this earth. Complimentary shots from the police department that ended his life.
In Philly.
Yes.
Okay.
And so they were in an uproar and looting and things like that. So conversation was brought about if that's appropriate and all what comes with that and all that kind of stuff. So that's what we ended up discussing, or that was the reason for the call. And here we are today to discuss some of those things regarding brutality, which is a word that was on one of our other shows, being a buzzword or word of conversation, a word to discuss as far as what does that mean? What does that look like? And how does that play out? Because it plays out differently in all different types of situations.
Very true. Very true.
Before they get started, come on, city of brotherly love. Come on now. Come on now. I've heard about Philly all my life. The city of brotherly love. The city of brotherly love. And I gotta hear this. Come on, Philly.
I'm
Come on,
just
Philly.
saying.
No more further ado, everybody. This is the Rely Radio Show. I'll put the flyer up one more time before we get started with the show. Y'all tune in every Tuesday night between 8:30 and 10:30 for more deep conversations like we're about to have tonight. Tonight is about police brutality and how to end it. NR, take over.
Oh yeah. So tell me what happened.
So I was hearing bits and pieces. I really didn't look into it a lot because this is an incessant occurrence, right?
True.
So apparently the brother was sitting in the car, not doing anything, minding his business, whatever ensued from there. At the end of the day, I guess at some point in my life, I got tired of hearing everything else that happened because here's the definitives for me. He didn't make it home.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people who do a lot to police officers, spit at them, fight them, cuss them out in their face, run away, leave, try to take their gun. They end up going home.
Yeah.
So
might spend the night in jail.
Right. So there's not anything to me, no matter what he was doing, no matter if his license was legit, insurance, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Right. So he still should end up home because again, we've seen it on TV live. They be doing the most, but they end up going home.
Yeah, exactly.
We just get blasted for asking questions like why you pulled me over or why you bothering me
Yeah.
or whatever the case may be. But I've seen these folks, these folks go at them hardcore.
Yeah.
And they end up going home. So at the end of the day, at some point in my life, I think after Trayvon Martin, to be truthfully honest, I kind of checked out on the details. Does he end up home or not is all that I care about.
Exactly.
All of what happened, the who's, the what's, the whys. If you know how to apply your set of skills as an officer, then apply them to everyone. The skill set is the skill set. I don't do a certain thing a certain way only to certain people. If I do, then that's a problem. Either you have the skill set or you don't. And if you don't have the skill set, then you shouldn't have the job.
You know, I hate to cut you off, but I have a thought. And I usually don't entertain this thought. But I just had, what do you call it, an epiphany? You said certain people get away with certain things. I've heard many times over, they got bullied in high school. Most bullies, most of them get bullied by us, not by themselves. And the same thing goes for.
I don't really understand. Most white people get bullied by black people.
Yeah.
You know.
No.
No.
You don't think that has anything to do with it?
No.
And the blacks that do it to us.
So
they get bullied too.
I think it's a matter of the fraternal order of police. And you have a lot of people. So just like you have other people in the world full of insecurities and issues from their childhood experiences. I mean, that may be true, but that doesn't mean someone ends up not alive. That still don't make you.
You don't think that's no? I'm not excusing.
I never heard that before ever. But again, it still doesn't mean you get taken. That still doesn't mean that you end up not getting home safe, alive. Here's the thing about the Fraternal Order of Policehood. So while that may be something that was heard of, I suggest you learn how to fight and throw up your hands. I don't know what to tell you because depending upon how old you are, that can't be an excuse because we didn't even go to your fucking schools. So that's one. That can't be a reason, right? And then two, the Fraternal Order of Policehood itself, and we always step away from or don't understand the soul of a thing, the spirit of a thing. The Fraternal Order of Police was instituted to police Negroes, slaves, to bring them back when they ran away. So that energy, that spirit is still within the Fraternal Order of Police. I don't care what color you are. When you take an oath and you decide to assimilate with anything, you assimilate with their ideologies, their spiritual energies, their understandings, perceptions, concepts. I don't care what color you are. Right is right and wrong is wrong. If you're trained like this and your outcome is this, it's wrong. If none of the people ever made it home for attacking the police and never made it home alive, then we wouldn't need to have those conversations. But since that's not the case, and you can exemplify to me that it does happen, that you can drive someone who just murdered a whole bunch of people through a damn drive-through, that you can make excuses and say things like, they were going through some things. If it happens, then it happens. If it had never happened, we would be like, that's just what police do. They kill everybody who act up.
Yeah.
Who act out.
If
it doesn't apply to everybody, you could miss me. I don't care what the reason is. And you're not going to tell me that you don't get bullied by your own people, because crime on crime is about it happening within your own race, within your own neighborhood. You ain't even remotely about to tell me that you don't get bullied by your own people when they bully the whole goddamn universe. Nobody's going to convince me of that. You're the original gangster. You robbed, raped, stole, and pillaged everywhere you went in this world. That was your MO. That's where the rape came from. That's where all the things have come from. And you did it to everybody else. Now, whether they were doing it in their own villages, in their own countries, we'll never know, because you went everywhere and did it.
True. You just summed that up for me. Because I forgot to think about, okay, well, if it's a predominantly white school, we couldn't have done that to you. So why is it that you let your own kind make it, but you kill us? And here's another question. Before y'all get deeper into the show, and I'll get out of the way. Before y'all get deeper in the show, I would like to know, to police officers, please tag police officers in this show.
Oh, yes.
The good ones, the bad ones, the black ones, the white ones, the Hispanic ones, the Asians, I don't care. Tag them to this show. Your uncles, your nephews, your grandpas, your fathers, your mothers, your aunties, your nieces. Tag police officers to this show, this video, because this question is for them. We all know that all cops ain't bad cops. So my question to police is, why is it that the good cops don't say, hey, dude, you making us look bad? To hell with you. You going to jail or something along them lines, instead of making us all look bad.
That goes back to what you said, bullying. The Fraternal Order of Policehood, like any other groups of people, have, in order for you to be a part of these groupings, there's bullying that takes place. There's hazing that takes place. There's initiation, whatever you want to call it. All that stuff, blood in, blood out.
That's correct.
All that, if you want to be a part of, you got to get with the program. You can't have an opposite or opposing mindset.
That's crazy.
And of course, we know we're not talking about all police, because if that's the case, we'd be talking about all people. This is a people thing. It's not a police thing. It's not a black and white thing. This is how we have to start having conversations about human beings operate in general. In general, there's good people and bad people, period. And they get jobs everywhere. All right. So you're going to see them everywhere. It couldn't possibly be all people, because then that would just mean all people were bad. We have good people and bad people. But at the end of the day, everybody gets to make a decision and a choice. And every move, every little step you take, shout out to Bobby Brown, you'll get to make a decision and a choice. I don't care what you're a part of, but people make an allegiance to things. And so they have to carry out those allegiances.
That's crazy.
And that's you. You got to rest with that, with your whole soul, with whatever it is you believe in. I really don't care. That's on you. That's on your conscience. Your conscience could carry it, then so be it. But walking around here murdering people on site, on GP, saying stuff like, y'all scared of us, you intimidated. Man, don't know what. It is 2023. Let me just tell you on the real. I don't want to hear nobody talking about how we make y'all scared because the volume of our voices, the bass of our voice, our vibrato, how tall we are, our statue, because nothing ever stopped you from approaching us. Nothing ever stopped you from disenfranchising us. People who are afraid of somebody for real, don't fuck with them. So miss me on that all day and all night, and let's have real conversations. That's my piece about that.
I agree with that. To go what you say about them being bullied, I do think a lot of police officers were bullied, but within their own community. I don't think we went around bullying white folks. And history tells us, and even if you don't look in the history books, if you look in the books of your own family, they came to us. You know what I'm saying? Acres Home used to be all black. Fifth Ward used to be all black. They come over there and regentrify. We don't go to their neighborhoods.
And you can't possibly be scared. And that goes for all the races.
Yeah.
How would you go into a community and just build up and set up and be talking? I'm talking to your Asians, your Arabs, your Hispanics, all of y'all. How you gonna come into a neighborhood and you straight cash money be taking the money and talking shit or in exchange? Man, miss me on the I'm scared of black people shit. Okay.
So
miss me.
When they say that, when people say that they were bullied, I think that's an excuse. That's like if I beat my wife and I say, hey man, I had anger problems when I was a kid, so that's why I do it. No, that's an excuse. You know what I'm saying? What happens is when you tell somebody, even a child, when you tell someone they're doing something wrong and they don't like it, they begin to find it's like when you get caught doing something. What's the first thing that, man, I'm sorry. No, if you felt that way genuinely, you wouldn't have done it in the first place.
Yeah, my father didn't let me get away with that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You understand me? When I did wrong stuff, I had to really understand why did you do this? And I could not be like, oh no, like most
exactly.
Kids. I had to have an explanation. I had to think about it.
Exactly. So when you tell whenever cops or some white folks are approached with like, hey, you're doing this wrong, it's like, well, you got to understand it's like they come up with this big theory to theorize what the problem is. And it's like,
and that would be fine if it applied to everybody.
Yeah.
Because if you cannot understand the psychology that has been transferred down and the trauma that has been transferred down from slavery, not before, not from just before, but current day, right?
Yeah.
Because being sorry for something means you stop it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you can't understand, if you can apply all of that big long story that they be giving about how you gotta understand, then you should be able to understand. Trying to have one without the other makes no sense. You can't hand that off to me and then you can't apply it to yourself.
Exactly.
Get out of here, man.
So yeah, when they say that, it's an excuse, man. You're not really sorry. You're not being a man and living up. So I would respect you more if you say, man, I do it because I don't like y'all. I do it because you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
All day I would respect that.
If you say I do it because I don't like black folks and I want to run their stuff, that's why I do it. Then I'll be like, okay, now I know what the real issue is.
Now we can have a conversation.
Yeah, now we can have a conversation. But
not.
Yeah, or exactly. Because I believe me, if they said that, we would look at them differently. You see what I'm saying?
And it's unfortunate that should be the case because your actions should be showing for you anyway.
True.
But
when you see cops do that,
different.
Yeah, when you and take accountability on our part. Our people, our black folks, when we do this, we should not be taking it. Like, first off, this has been going on since before we've had social media. Every black person got a story when they was hemmed up. Starting from the point you were able to sit in the car, not even drive, from the point where you were in a car, whether you was riding with your mom, your dad, your uncle, your cousins. How many of us have gotten pulled over because we fit the description of a crime that just happened?
Or we're in a car that was just stolen.
That was stolen.
Like the hilarious reasons. And apparently this brother wasn't moving. It was a traffic stop, but he wasn't
moving. Yeah. You know what? I've been pulled up, not even pulled over. I was sitting in my car one time looking for something. Not even no drugs or anything like that, but that's a whole nother story. But I'm gonna get on that in a second. But I was just looking for some papers and stuff, right? Cop came up on me and said, "Hey, what are you doing?" I'm like, "Sitting in my car." He said, "Well, you look suspicious." I'm like, "Well, how do I look suspicious when I'm sitting in my car with the light on with papers all over my car?" I mean, my car looked like an office, like, you know what I'm saying, like a filing cabinet. I had papers all over my car, and but that happens to us. That don't happen to them.
Well, because we're not given the benefit of the doubt, and because the skin color is what makes you suspicious, right? And which is all nonsense. At any point of this, our family should be able to make it home. I'm gonna say that time and time again. I don't care what the reason is. If the proper training is done, follow the procedures. Write the damn ticket. Take them to jail. Whatever is the procedures for whatever it is you're claiming, allow that to happen. Because at the end of the day, there's nothing you're going to be able to say to me. My relative should still be alive. Death is certain. Death is permanent. You can't come back from that. Ain't amount of apologies, money, none of it. Yeah. None of it is going to replace this person, this young person, this child, this older person. It really doesn't matter. Male, female, I don't care. And the worst crime of all crimes is to be murdered out of hatred. I'm sorry. To me, that's the ultimate of all crimes. Is the most unnecessary for you to take somebody's life. And I really don't give a damn if you were bullied, if you were poked, prodded, bumped in the booty. I really don't care. You need to exercise your benefits, get you some mental help. You need to do whatever you need to do. And then the last person that should have a gun in their hand is you. If you got that many issues,
you shouldn't have a gun in your hand.
Not bumped in the booty.
I agree with that though. If you don't know how to handle everybody, you shouldn't have no gun.
Why would you be a public servant?
Yeah,
and why do you have a gun?
But you know what? You know what it is? The police office, the police departments take people like that. Like you was talking about the fraternal order police. Fraternities take certain people, and that fraternity particularly takes people that have a little bit of hatred. Even the black people that join, they go through a brain dirty. They get their brain real dirtied up to where it's like, all right, I was talking to one of these cops, right? And he told me, he said, man, my partner got in trouble for pulling over too many white folks. And I said, well, what's wrong with that? He said, what do you mean? You can't just pull over. I said, well, y'all pull over majority black people. And I don't need no statistics sheet on any page to tell you that you do that. I don't need that. I can tell you, I can ask any one of my friends and they tell you they've been pulled over for no reason. Hey, man, you ain't got enough air in your tires. Let me see your license and registration. You know what I'm saying? So
you're infringing upon our rights on a regular basis.
Exactly.
And it becomes a regular part of our life, unfortunately. But at the end of the day, you're still held accountable and responsible on some level. I know not in our legal system, you're not, but on some level you are. The conversation that was brought about when this happened was about looting your own neighborhood. And they was having a huge conversation because they like it happens every time. People use it as a reason to steal and all this kind of stuff. Here's the thing that I think is so funny about that. Most of the people in those neighborhoods don't own anything in there anyway. So when you say looting your own neighborhood, I don't know what you're talking about for the most part. And the other part, do we really have the right to speak on how people act in these types of events?
You know what trips me out? Somebody gets murdered and they're talking about some looting going on. That's backwards. That's act backwards or bass backwards. Yeah, that's bass backwards. Somebody gets murdered and they're talking about, oh, they're going to loot. And what's worse is our people say that. It's like, look how they acted. But look how the cops is acting. Number one, I don't see anything wrong. I think people should loot on a regular basis until they bring our businesses back, to be honest. These Asians and these Arabs, they go in our neighborhoods, they give us stuff that's outdated. You know what I'm saying? The orange juice company still got a picture of Billy D selling OE. You know what I'm saying? Like Shaft selling OE. Y'all, I know y'all seen them commercials.
Billy D did pink champagne.
That's what it was, yeah. And Shaft did Richard Roundtree, whatever he did, the OE or the malt liquor.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So they still got that stuff in it. He still got, you know.
A part of the things that aggravate me is that we cross-reference so much stuff, right? Each incident needs to be held accountable.
It does.
Every time someone does this, we don't have to say, we don't need to counter respond with, but what about this, right? To me, that's because when you engage in an argument like that in your relationship and see how petty that is.
Oh man, you'll be arguing all day.
All day.
You'll be arguing all
nonsense.
day long. It won't solve nothing.
Losing your mind and won't solve nothing. The same thing with us. With us, and when I say us, I mean everyone as a people. When things happen, address these situations. So for everything that occurs, there's a reaction, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's always going to be a reaction. And if I was to hit you, I can't control your reaction.
Mm-mm.
It's not for me to control the reaction. If you want to stop those reactions, I need to stop doing what I did to not receive the reaction.
Exactly.
Right. And then we can have a conversation that these particular set of people in their neighborhoods just rob and loot.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Without anything occurring, without it being reactionary at all.
Yeah.
Then we could just discuss that.
Yeah.
Taking everything as a whole, if your doctor if you went to one doctor for everything about you from head to toe, I am telling you for a fact, some of your organs and shit is gonna suffer. If you don't go to a doctor that specializes in some of them needs connected to you are going to suffer terribly.
Yeah.
So each incident, each thing needs to be held accountable. One doesn't supersede another.
Exactly. I agree with that. I think we really got to stop. Like I said, everybody. When we had this conversation, that's including the cops, Black folks, and anybody who decides to open their mouth about the conversation. Because if you was on that road rolling by, I feel like as a human being, number one, if you see a Black person getting pulled over, everybody should be like, hey, man, you're not taking them to jail. And if you pull your gun out, one of us is going to run you over when you leave.
Which is why I don't believe the others in their apologies.
Yeah, it don't.
Because you would utilize this privilege, whatever you have, to invoke the right.
Exactly.
What's right.
That's why.
And you don't.
And that's why it still happens. Nobody's taking their accountability part. And what society seems to do is just look at what we do after you kill somebody. So for all the white people and Mexicans or for all the people who say, well, what was he doing? When somebody gets murdered, if the first question you ask is, why did he get murdered? Unless he was inside of somebody's house unnecessarily, unless he was raping somebody, unless he was doing, and this goes for anybody, unless he was doing something that warranted a gun to your head. You know what I'm saying? Unless you was doing some murderous stuff already, why was he shot by sitting on the side of the road? Point blank, period. If you want to end police brutality, number one, and this goes for anything in your life, if you want to stop hitting women, if you want to stop smoking weed, if you want to stop drinking, the first thing you need to do is take accountability. Don't blame something else for what you're doing. Don't blame nobody but yourself. Take accountability. Be honest. Hey, I like to drink. Hey, I like to smoke. Hey, I like to kill niggas. Say that to yourself. You know what I'm saying? Be honest with yourself, but don't sit over here and say, I killed them, but why are they looting? It don't matter why they looting. That is totally irrelevant.
You could address that at a different time, but exactly. It
ain't got nothing
to do with the other.
It doesn't. It does not have nothing to do with it. You can't hit me, and then when I hit you back, you can't be like, why'd you hit me?
Why'd you hit me like that?
Yeah, exactly.
Or why'd you hit me in my face? I hit you on your stomach.
It don't matter. You put your hands on
me.
And I reacted. So in order to really end this, the first thing you got to do is take accountability. I say that with everything we talk about.
With everything.
Accountability. And everybody needs to take accountability. The mayors, the chief of police, the good cops and the bad cops. Because you're not a good cop if you allow that to happen. Let's get that straight. If you got a good cop, they're not going to allow that to happen. They're going to go arrest that guy himself. One thing I always tell police why I don't really think your job is what you say it is, because you wouldn't do it without the badge.
But you're still up. The thing is about the Fraternal Order of Policehood is you're still upholding its original precipice. It's the reason why it was set up in the first place, and that is to police Negroes.
Exactly.
To bring them back when they ran away.
That's why you
You
got
are
in jail.
still operating in that same energy, that same spirit. And there's no way nobody's going to, and you still make people take an oath and allegiance based upon that. That everything about your target practice, all of that mental conditioning is based on the black male and black people. That's just a plain and simple thing. It's just what you do. It's just how you became a part of that. And if you choose to become a part of it, then it is what it is. And again, if we're gonna have conversations about all, some, or none, that's on you to have. And people who feel like, what did they do? Ask that question when it happens to your father, to your brother, to your cousin, to your neighbor, to your son. Ask your question. Ask that question.
And when the cops get killed, I don't want to hear shit. When the cop gets tagged, when the cop gets popped, whatever, you don't hear that. When a cop gets hit, it's like, oh my God, he was just trying to protect everybody. You know what I'm saying?
Oh man.
That don't make no sense. But when one of us gets killed, it's like, why are they looting? And that's not a humane person, which is why in every culture you go to, they have something negative to say about that blue-eyed monster, about that white person. Because everywhere they go, something happens. And they don't take no accountability, and they end up killing us and taking us out. So go back to the police thing. Number one, I told the police what they need to do to take accountability. What we need to do to take accountability is start protecting ourselves. If 2, 3, 4, 5 of us pull over, or well, F that. When they start pulling us over, don't pull over. Number one, we need to stay in our neighborhoods. A lot of the times we get caught up because we're not in our neighborhoods. We out trying to go get something from Sally and Sue, and we should be getting it from Dominique and Jamal. You feel me? So if we stay in our neighborhoods, so when they do attempt to pull us over, then the neighborhood needs to come out. So the brother like that don't get pulled up on. And number one, we need to start taking more action against them. And I'm not talking about lawsuits, but we do need to start painting them as the villain that they are. You know what I'm saying? That whole being peaceful and we need to get a lawsuit. Like she said earlier, you giving me 20 mil, 10 mil, 8 mil, $800,000 ain't gonna bring back whoever you took from me. You see what I'm saying?
No, and if you're exchanging your loved ones' lives like that and you don't value it, then that's on you.
And that's exactly.
That's on you. And all of these things can get broken down in a million different pieces. But one, everybody, just like domestic abuse, everybody need to keep their hands off each other.
Exactly.
And if your job is to protect and serve, then we have to keep asking the question, protect and serve who?
Who? Exactly.
Who? Identify who you're protecting and who you're serving. And we need to keep making them identify that, because if I'm included in that, then how you address me should be the exact same as you address the blonde hair, blue eye, Chanel rocking, Benz drop top driving, KK, Karen, May, whatever their names, Sarah, Sue, whatever their names are on Rodeo Drive. When I'm rolling through my hood, peeling out, because I could go anywhere I want. I ain't got to stay in my neighborhood, and pulling me over, asking me stupid questions like, what am I doing here? Automatically tells me you think by looking at me, I don't have the right to go where the hell I want to. And last time I checked, eyes be free. I go anywhere the hell I want to go, whenever I want to. It don't matter what time of day or night it is. I am free to go wherever I want. And if Miss Sally from the Valley can roam where the hell she wants to any time, day or night, then the exact same should apply to me.
You know what? You're right. When they come to our neighborhood, we don't need to be giving them a pass like that. I think we give too many people in our culture a pass to come through and hang out and be cool and listen to our music and go back and, all this other stuff. They don't need to be getting a pass anymore. We got to start sending a message. And I'm not saying this to be rebellious. we got kids growing up seeing this. You know what I'm saying? They're knocking off people of all ages that are black, brown, black. They're knocking us off. You know, I'm brown. My daddy was black, but they're knocking us all off, and they're not getting any punishment for it.
So
you know what I'm saying?
Those are the parts of the conversation that we don't fight for. So it's all types of people, all types of responses, right?
Mhm.
Some people are going to loot, some people are going to have conversations, and some people are going to take action. The action is about the consequences.
Mhm.
Because okay, we can discuss the treatment is different all day, but the issue, the truest heart of the issue is the consequences.
That's true. I agree with Chia, baby. Yeah, you're right. We got to start having some type of consequences, and exactly, we need to do us like they do, like that. We need to do them like they do us, and that man.
But we're not willing to pay the consequence because the consequences are already set differently. We're not willing to pay the consequences for doing them like they
You know
do
what?
us.
It wouldn't be no consequences if all of us played our part, like you said. If we was to team up. If we got to start rolling out old school, man, we're like a community. We're a tribal people. We're naturally a tribal people. Everywhere you go, we had different tribes of us. If we start rolling out in tribes, so if they happen to pull one of us over in 2 or 3, and you're right, some of us are very fearful of going to jail, being hunted by the cops,
losing our status in life.
Exactly, losing that status. Those people, then you don't need to roll with this. You got to make a move. We don't need you. If you like, man, I would, but you stay over there. I don't need to hear the rest of your whatever you was gonna say. Go tell that to your other butt friends. You know what I'm saying? But when it comes to us people that is serious, like, you know, I got a problem with a lot of these gangsters and these thugs nowadays, man.
All day.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Always.
We so quick to kill somebody who looking at us wrong, who stepped
on your sneaker,
man, going
into you,
all that.
Mm-hmm.
We so quick
looking at you too hard.
Yeah, looked at your gal, all this other stuff, right?
Yeah.
You'll fight me over that. But when you see someone who look like you that gets shot in the video, it's like that doesn't even affect you. You don't even want to go after these red and blues. You see what I'm saying?
You pull out your phone, no.
Exactly. I'm so tired of people pulling out their phone. We gotta stop pulling out our phone and pull out our pistol. We in Texas, all of us got them, whether it's legal or illegal.
You pull out your phones, but you won't protect your brother.
Exactly, won't protect your brother. So I agree with Brooklyn saying that we're afraid of the consequences, but those of us who are not afraid of those consequences, we got to go out here and start reprimanding people.
And that's on all levels, right?
You're right.
Because there's an exchange that occurs streetwise, and there's an exchange that occurs legal.
Yeah.
It has to be on all ways, but because that's how any war is fought. No war is fought on one side.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
If I'm just face fronting you, waiting for your frontal attack, who the hell has got my back?
Exactly.
As you climb up behind.
Exactly.
And I'm got.
So we need the mayors, the lawyers, the other police to be like, hey, I'll roll by, and if that police is doing something that I know he don't need to be doing, I'll stay right there till you're done, and I'll make a move. So those cops who call themselves good and really want to protect the people, you need to come to the meetings and say, hey, man, what you need me to do?
There you go.
The mayors who's over here so-called running for the people, hey, give me the cop's name so I can make sure he gets locked up.
There you go.
Let me put an investigation out into what because, you know, they could investigate people like Martin Luther King and other community leaders. Investigate these cops.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
Investigate the murders that don't happen on. I'm not saying ignore the ones on camera, but do you know how many of these murders happen daily?
That don't make the news.
Exactly. And do you know how many innocent mothers, fathers, old ladies who just get harassed? Ooh. Some of these women get touched wrong ways by these cops. And the men too. Some of these little perverted cops go out here and pull these little young boys and these young girls, old girls and old, you know, older people over and frisk them for no reason. Frisk them. And then when they resist, be like, hey man, get off me, do stuff to them and then take them to jail. Anybody who's ever been in jail, I know you've heard someone get beat up in the tank.
And it's not, and so the thing is, it's not, it just so happens, right, that you have this particular energy, this particular spirit that is attracted to becoming a police officer.
Yeah, that's true.
Right?
That's true.
Because That same person, even outside of that uniform, is that same person.
Exactly.
That same person,
Exactly.
however they were set up, whatever hatred they had, whatever issues they had with being bullied or anything else, whatever their issues are, is that same person. And
Mm-hmm.
you will continuously see these same people. There are many industries, all the industries that exist all attract certain types of character and characteristics and
That's true.
energy and certain type of spirits and certain type of energies. All industries do. That's why most of the people in those industries are very similar in their
Exactly.
thinking and doing. That's every single industry that's out here that we work in.
Hmm.
And so when you speak to the psychology of those things and people try to make it seem like it's the job itself, that energy, that mindset was attracted to that job in the first place. And
Mm-hmm.
that's the psychology that needs to be discussed,
That's
not
true.
the psychology from their experiences on the job, because all of us don't want to be police officers. There's a
True.
reason for that.
Exactly. Exactly.
There's a reason for that.
Exact. You know what? And you got to question. I just want you know what? I'm glad you said that. Anybody who's worked in law enforcement or who wants to work in law enforcement, especially people that look like me and her, you got to question yourself: is this where you're going to help us at? Because I've told a couple of my partners who wanted to be cops and a couple of them who actually are. I said, hey man, because they tell me, oh man, I'm gonna be different. You can't be different with inside their system. This system has been here longer than me and you have been here. You're not going to go in and make a change. And I'm not saying that to be mean, to kill your dreams, to be negative. That's just facts.
Well, the odds are stacked against you, right?
Yeah.
So you're going to be bullied, harassed, driven crazy,
Yeah.
mentally insane.
Exactly.
Your family, all of that, to the point that either you surrender or you give up.
Exactly. Or get killed.
Yes,
Or
that too.
or and don't make fun of me. I learned this in history in government class. Excuse me. Or you set place a system of checks and balances that protects them in some kind of way, right? I mean, why not do that? We already know the system is corrupt, and there's a fraternity that tells them, that dictates to them that you cannot tell on us because you're our brothers.
Yeah.
So why don't the higher ups, the mayors, the presidents, set up a system of checks and balances to where the people who are corrupt are getting checked?
You know what? You know why that's not going to happen? Because they don't want that to happen.
They don't want that to happen.
How many presidents have we had? Yeah. How many presidents and mayors have we had? This is the thing. This has been going on for eons.
And the protection of it going on. I keep saying over and over again, we live in pop culture, and that's the protection of predators. And when people hear that, you think I'm talking about just sexual predators. If you don't believe that the hunting of Negroes is a predator, I'm not sure what you believe in. There used to be a nigga hunting license. So all of these things.
Look, do the history on bounty hunters.
All of these things play into one another. They're all a part of the same society. When you speak about those things, then you have to take on the whole. Of course, they're not going to do that, and they will. Here's the moments that they will, to balance out and to keep the people calm.
Exactly. It's all
that's
right.
all it. That's control. All. Yeah. It's all a matter of control because it's necessary. If you are in charge of a nation of people, you have to put things in place to control those people. How else do we get analysis and things like that without there being measurements, without things being quantitative and measurable? How else would we get these statistics? If you're not controlling those narratives, those stories, that's why all the people who become a part of anything, you must first be about your people first, if that's what you're about. Because every system that you enter into, the workforce, educational systems, job systems, any of them, not just police, is you're going to be a part of an indoctrination. And if you're not sure about who you are and the what that you are and what you stand for, as they used to say back in the day, if you don't stand for nothing, you'll fall for anything. You will fall for anything. You will get accustomed to the life that you're living. That's why you got to start unsubscribing from these things that any person could manipulate to maneuver you. When you become addicted to anything, you become addicted to a certain way of living, a certain lifestyle, then somebody has something that they can enter into your life.
True.
Gangsters back in the day very rarely would like to set up families. Most certainly kept their families away from things that they did. And there was honor amongst thieves. There was an order to things. This is what I do in these streets and keep my family off of it. But every now and then when somebody really wanted to get you because you got too big for your own britches, they would go for your family.
That's true.
Because anything that you associated to, addicted to, love is up for grabs to control you.
Exactly.
Anything.
That's how they get a lot of these people too. They say, "Hey man, if you keep doing this, we're gonna have to get your family." And
in a lot of different ways.
Yeah, and they'll do a whole bunch of stuff, whether it be taxes, whether lock them up for a few days, and they'll get the weakest, not the weakest one, but they'll get maybe the oldest one. Hey, we're gonna have to get your mama, and then you get back in line. And that goes back to what's saying, well, how come the system, how you don't have checks and balances, is because they want to control us. They don't want to, like, you say this all the time on the show. Your enemy's not trying to make sure you good.
Absolutely.
Your enemy's not trying to be like, what can we do to accommodate you? They're not trying to do that.
And at the end of the day, we all playing chicken, right? Who's gonna be scared of who first?
Exactly. And in order to end any type of brutality, like, man, this goes into police brutality, educational brutality,
the brutality in your home.
Yeah, in your own house, man. Financial brutality. This dollar bill with these white faces on it. One day we're gonna wake up and realize they not for us. When you put your kids in this educational system, they're teaching your child how to be slave. How many schools have you went to publicly and privately? They say, hey man, you need to start your own business. Let me teach you how to get loans. Let me teach you how to get grants. Let me introduce you to people who can take you here. We don't have that. They teach us math, English, whoever did what in history that wasn't. They teach us that we were slaves throughout history, and they give us math and stuff that we don't need to use. And the same thing with laws, to get back to that. They don't tell us what the laws are. There are so many laws that protect us. Even the cops and the mayors don't make it attainable for us to use them.
But back in the day, they used to say if you wanted to hide anything from a Negro, you put it in a book.
Yeah, you put it.
It won't. It's not going to be easily accessible to you.
No.
Although we have these things now that y'all still don't really use, and you still, and when you use them, you got to check the checkers on it because this has a whole bunch of lies.
Yeah.
So you get to easily access it, but
fact check.
We have, it like try to go to the original book.
yeah. You still got to use that paper.
Yeah. Try to go to the original book because here's the thing. Things are made convenient to you to convince you.
Exactly.
To further indoctrinate you. Things are made easy and convenient to you to further make you lazy. Y'all real story about script, and I don't know if I shared this before. When I didn't know, because I don't have kids in school, that they stopped teaching cursive.
Yeah, my mom's told me that.
And my friends and I were having a conversation with this quite a few years ago. And I said, this is a setup.
Huh.
And so my friends are like, of course you would say that. And I said, well, you'll find out soon enough.
Yeah.
I didn't know what the setup was per se when I said it, but I was like, it's a setup for sure. And then not too long after that conversation, I was in Atlanta. I was at the museum, Civil Rights Museum. And, they have all the experiences, the counter shaking experience, and you put on headphones and listen to the white people yell all the absurdities into your ear and stuff like that. They have the bus experience. They have all these experiences. So when I came out of the bus experience, there is a film playing on the wall up above and bars, like jail bars, right? So this is another experience. And there is Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s letters from prison. being projected behind these bars. Two little girls standing next to me, two little sisters, and they said, "Oh, I don't know what that says. I can't read cursive." And I just started reading the letters. And some of the words I stumbled on because y'all know we all write cursive different. So I was like, so I would read the letters and I'd be like, I don't know what that says. And we all three of us were laughing.
Yeah.
But inside I was crying because I said I knew this was a fucking setup.
Yeah.
I didn't know that I would be met with the experience of it because I don't have kids in school. So I was like, I probably won't ever really know what happens with this.
You can put it right in front of them and they won't know what they read.
No, my nieces and I wrote to them in there, but I write to them in script all the time. And I'd be like, take your time. So, and I'm saying that to you just a little bit off what we're talking about, but these are the small things that you have to be careful about. Everything that came before time is written in cursive.
No, that's true. If you don't know,
your children won't be able to read any of those documents.
That's true.
Won't be able to read if you kept love letters, anything that your grandparents, their great grandparents wrote. They won't be able to read it. And some of them, you know, grew up writing chicken scratch. So a lot of us can't necessarily read it either.
True.
But in at all, not in a, I think that says, but in absolute, I have no idea what that says. Everything before us, because you took time, the right pen, the right paper to write in cursive and to learn cursive.
True.
To no longer teach something when all of our main documents, and maybe not so main, but all documents beforehand is written in cursive. Nobody can convince me that that's not a setup.
Yeah. Oh, they barely got book, man. You know what? They don't even have, they let these kids use calculators now. Way more than they used to. So now you go to the checkout counter and they can barely count your change back unless them computers is working. So I think
all of those things. So and I'm saying all to say is when that happens, we all have to step up.
Yes.
We can't allow it to occur.
I went to the school. Two of our kids, they're graduated now. Well, excuse me, I'm sorry. They graduated themselves. They dropped out. But you can hand them dollar bills and they can count. But you hand them some change, ain't nothing happening.
Because they didn't teach them to count back.
They didn't teach them how to count change.
But again, why would they?
Yeah, they want to keep them ignorant.
That's
crazy.
But the rest of the world is not.
Yeah,
the rest of the world
go to Asia
can advance. The rest of the world, period.
Right.
And here's the thing: how do we start doing less when our children are competing on a global level? They're not just competing in the neighborhood, and they're not just competing in your state.
Crazy.
So how do we end up doing less, and more is being done?
We've become a more subservient people, and I think to end any brutality. Medical, educational.
Because by the way, we're still talking about brutality.
Yeah, we're still talking about
brutality.
Because not to wrap it up, but to put it all in a nice little box for you. If we don't have knowledge of ourselves, then we're not going to be able to truly come up with solutions to get rid of police brutality. Because we're going to keep doing the same old two-step. And if we don't have knowledge of the law, we're not going to know what they're allowed and not allowed to do. We're not even going to know who to talk to start that change if we don't have some type of knowledge. So if we don't have that educational knowledge, if we don't have that education, we're going to sit over here thinking, well, maybe we should go on the computer and make a post for it. Maybe we should just plead. Like a lot of us don't research when they protested back in the days, and this is how I know we don't have no knowledge. When they protested back with Martin and Malcolm and all that stuff, they were removing themselves from using their services. They will be like, no, we're not going to do it. And if anybody comes over here to do it, we got your name. We know where you at, and you better not come back to the neighborhood. And we're going to disrupt your service so that nobody's going to come here. Nobody's going to want to be there. And this went on for months on months on months on months. To backdoor that, They had black services. You research the black bus lines and the black taxi cab services and the black insurance companies,
which came before all other
exactly.
services.
All that. We had our own currency. We didn't even use their currency system. And we don't know that because we don't have no knowledge of self. And when I say self,
we don't discuss it.
We stopped discussing that and started discussing what they gave us in school, which is why I say we got to stop letting our kids go to school and learning what they're teaching us. Because they're poisoning us through the education, not just through the food. You see what I'm saying? So,
well, again, on all levels, because there's no reason. I'm not sure how many people have read the ISIS papers, but the doctor speaks very well of all the levels consistently that are and will always be under attack. And again, the expectation how do we take the energy and put the expectation on the enemy? How?
I don't see that.
That makes no sense.
It don't make no sense whatsoever.
Accountability. Y'all know the breakdown of accountability? Taking account of your ability. Period.
Point blank.
And then you go from there to where do you place it? Exactly. Where do you, after you take account of your abilities, where do you place your abilities? Sitting around waiting for people to hand you anything, you've already lost. And then furthermore, waiting for it to be handed from you from people who do not have your best interest at heart. Y'all cut people off for less because your cousin didn't give you a piece of gum, but gave a piece of gum to your sister. Man, STFU. Okay.
Excuse me for just a second, y'all. Mr. Nathan Richardson has a lot to say. Thank you for tuning in, everybody. But you're tuned in on my personal page. I need you to go to the Real Talk 100 radio page and do your comments so we can see your comments on the screen.
Okay.
I can tell you what he's saying.
Give me a little something what he's saying about.
Nathan says the cop in California tried it and they built a whole story about him and tracked him and killed him.
Absolutely.
He's tagging his friends, somebody named Christopher Domer. He says there are no rules anymore, no code. That's all he had to say. Nathan, thank you for your comments.
Appreciate
but I'd
that.
love for you to Sheba baby,
yes.
Mr. Benjamin Ban Israel. Please, y'all are more than welcome. Mr. T.Y. Chai Major. Y'all are more than welcome to call in at the number that I'm about to put up on the screen if you have more
Shilba
to say.
Baby has some great comments on there.
Yeah, I saw a couple of hers. You know what? With my kids, I'm in fear also. Oh, listen.
Yes.
Welcome to R.A.U.L.I Talk. Give us your name and where you're calling from and what you want to say.
Man, I'm anonymous calling from the middle of the Midwest.
I dig it.
I just wanted to throw a little sauce on that for y'all real quick.
Give me something.
No, but man, with the police brutality shit, man, like people just gotta learn the laws. That's why we gotta educate each other and keep everybody up to speed so they can't get away with everything they're doing. They're doing it by way of ignorance. You feel me? So the fact that people don't know is why they get away with it. And that's also how people get charged with crimes that you may have probably didn't even know it was a crime. Or you might get hit with an infraction that you probably never knew it was an infraction. You feel me? Because we're not educated. Because they don't want us to be educated.
That's right.
That's true, brother Anonymous. That's
right.
real. That's real.
I got grandparents. You feel me? I used to teach my grandfather how to read at the age of 8. So
that's right.
They come from that slavery days where they wasn't allowed to read. You feel me?
That's right.
So it's key that we actually spread the knowledge and not just hold it hostage and charge people for it. We gotta wake up as a group collectively in order to empower each other the way we need to be empowered. But that's just, something I just wanted to lay out there.
Hey,
You're
you know
absolutely
what?
correct, bro.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. we do got to come together. I like what you said just now, collectively.
I mean, we on all for all the levels, on accountability, on that. And when we grew up in neighborhoods, that's what it used to be like.
Yeah.
Somebody's telling you, pull your skirt down, young lady. Young man, sit up straight. You think that's the correct thing to wear? Your conversation. Say it again. Use your words. Okay, no, that's not how you say that. No, no, that's not how you say that.
Yeah.
Correct it. Random people. You may have known them, you may have not known them, but they never hesitated. They didn't look at you. When I wrote my first book, I wrote my first book as an accountability to myself because I was talking cash money, sugar, honey, iced tea about these young ladies. And I looked at myself and said, you the problem. Don't talk about it, be about it. So write the instructions. Tell them what.
But let me add. I just want to add one more thing. Like, we got to start attacking the people that's attacking us. Not necessarily the people, but the system they work for. You feel me?
That's right.
No, I totally agree with that. We do got to start doing that. That's
all the people that jumped the gates of the White House and did everything they did. They all alive, ain't they?
Probably sued the White House for attacking them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
They made it. The point is, how do you even make it over the fence without somebody shooting at you?
Man.
Does that make any sense to anybody?
I'm still trying to fathom that.
Right.
You know what?
I don't understand it at all. If it was a group of 100 black folks went over that fence,
if it was one black person, all of them would have been dead.
Gas, pellet guns,
headshots,
batons, everything would have been pulled. So I don't understand how they jumped the fence.
So this is why. So that is exactly what the brother said. We have to start getting at the heads of these systems. We gotta go. I mean, this system protects you, and it protects you in your wrong. Those are the things that need justification.
Exactly.
And it's not. And here's the funny part: it can't possibly be just for us, because every time somebody is fighting for their rights for something, they go back to one of our movements.
You know what? I'm gonna give y'all a name, because you know all this LGB, ABC, 3Q25 movement. They stole
him 3Q.
Release the phone line before we continue.
Oh, Brother Todd, you want to say something? I mean, Anonymous, did you want to say something else?
I'm straight, bro. I'm gonna keep tuned. I'm gonna stay tuned in. Y'all keep doing what y'all doing, bro.
I appreciate it. Anonymous call from the Midwest. I appreciate your call. Call back whenever you want to.
For sure.
If you all of them, it's funny how right now they get all this recognition. Don't say this. They even getting bathrooms. Do you know that the bathrooms that we got said colored and were nastier than outhouses? So they even getting bathrooms for stupid shit like I'm a trans person. And you get a bathroom, and some of them are allowed in the ladies' bathroom.
I know. I worked at a job that he used our bathroom.
Yeah. Like, I'm trying to understand.
One of your coworkers?
Yes.
I worked at a call center where, I mean, look, when I say this was a 6'9" tall brother who put on a wig. And he's going to use it. I'm gonna go in there with y'all, girl. Wait, what? So they getting all these rights. You good, man?
Okay.
You saw a fly, huh?
No, I was trying.
Okay, my bad. Yeah, so they getting all these rights. If you look up the Brown Berets, when some of the Latinos came over here, and all of them tagged along with our movement. Think about the Black Lives Movement.
Every last single one.
Exactly. This recently, the LGBT people tagged on with the Black Lives Movement.
Every single one. Every single movement uses that foundation, because to build a house, everything has to have a foundation.
Exactly.
And every single movement builds upon the foundation. I'm not mad at you. I'm not mad at you for doing it. Here's the thing, though, my folks. Here's where I have a problem with you. Stop jumping on a damn bad.
Yo.
Because here's what happened. It's like a bad date.
Huh.
After you have a good time, you get ghosted.
Every time.
Because don't nobody come back to the community and do anything for it.
Ever.
It uses it to leverage itself for its purpose at that time, whatever the hot situation or subject is. But I have yet to see anything done for the community. And if you really want to know that, ask the browns, the blacks, whatever you want to say, of that community. How much it applies to them, it don't.
The LGBT.
If they'll tell the truth, those in that community of black and brown do not reap the benefits of all of that fighting.
Nah. The LGBT, they used us. And when someone black gets shot, I don't see none of them getting on there talking about so-and-so got shot. This is wrong. The women's suffrage or women's rights, you don't see them protecting black women. If something happens to a black woman, they'll damn near be on the side of the white man.
And again, I am not mad we cannot get mad at people for doing them.
No.
The issue is always in you not doing you.
Exactly.
And so you're going to have to reach deep inside to your soul and ask yourself, why? Why do you allow this incessant type of behavior? Because you are in a brutal, domestically violent relationship. I hate to tell you, but you are. Everything about the way you walk, the way you talk, everything about who you are is in a brutal relationship. We absolutely suffer from post-traumatic slave distress syndrome.
Man.
We absolutely are in the syndrome of Stockholm syndrome. In case you don't know what that is, that's when you literally protect your oppressor. It came from a bank robbery in Stockholm where everybody was held captive for days and they protected their captors. Master did not give himself his name. You gave it to him. He's not even intelligent enough to call himself master. So you are going to have to, all these years and energies spent on please like me, please do the right thing by me, because that's what it equates to. Please accept me, invite me into your home, at your table. I've done all these things, just like a domestically violent, brutal relationship. You're going to have to ask yourself why. You are going to have to look at yourself and ask yourself, why do you allow these things for so many years to continue to occur? You jumped in the pool, you feel like you drowning, and all you got to do is stand up. Stand the fuck up.
Say it. Stand the fuck up. Say it.
Stand the fuck up. The water is shallow. Meaning it's weak. The water's weak. It's shallow. If you stand up, you'll find out you won't drown. I promise you. But you've done everything you can, and it still ain't working out in your favor. Come on now.
That's true. To go to Chi Baby when she said, I hope I'm saying that right. If I'm not, to say that to Sister Chi or Brother Chi, when she said earlier,
the disrespectful.
Yeah. First off, she said cursive. The slaves wrote cursive. She's right, because think about before cursive, you had hieroglyphics.
Absolutely.
And none of us read that. So if you study linguistics,
that's right.
We always wrote another language, and if you look deeper into history, it's not that they wouldn't allow us to read, they wouldn't allow us to speak our language.
That's right.
So that way we couldn't write our language, and they would write a certain language and we wouldn't even know, which is why now we can't keep up because they're talking a whole different language. I think it was Malcolm that said it, that when we come to the table and we talking about something, the white man might say he want freedom and we might say we want freedom, but there's two different freedoms.
That's why you got to keep asking a question. Because when people are saying they want certain things, ask them, what does that mean to you?
Exactly.
What does that look like to you?
Exactly.
And if for nothing else, ask them to break it down into 5 senses.
Exactly.
So you can get an understanding, because you're thinking because that word is being used, y'all on the same shit. You not.
Exactly.
I told y'all there's a whole woke religion. So when we saying woke, we ain't talking about what the woke religion is about.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
So you got to be careful.
So don't be getting caught up in their stuff, because they mean something totally different. Then she said, teach them at home.
Yes, she did. Yeah.
I agree with that also. We got to stop. A lot of conversations I have with my people when they send them to school, I say, man, we got to stop being lazy.
Absolutely.
We got to stop being lazy and being like, well, I let them go there so they can learn. Stop wanting your kids to go to their collegiate system. It's not an elite system. It don't even make sense. You know what? When you go through a tribal, if you join a whatever fraternity, you got to learn certain things on why that fraternity was founded. You got to learn what things they did, where it came from. You got to learn the whole etymology of everything
That's right.
before you even get to the physicality, so you can have the right mentality, right? We got to start that etymology and mentality at the house. We have to teach them. We got to talk the way we talk around them so they know. A lot of our people might raise our kids in a white area of town and be like, so it's safer. But when they come to our area, they're scared of our own people. You see what I'm saying? So we got to start teaching them at home. When he says this and when he does this, he don't mean nothing. This is just how we are, whatever. And we got to start teaching what grandma. It don't necessarily mean going to buy a Black History book by Frederick Douglass or whomever.
Your Black history is in your house, in your family. Yes, exactly.
So let grandma and big mama take the stories that they told you and tell your kids. That's and I think that's what they mean by teach them at home.
Yes.
We got to start doing that first. You can have a baby at your house. You don't need the hospital. You see what I'm saying? If you taught how grandma had kids.
Before somebody was having babies and going into the hospital, they had one or two of those women who were the doctors.
Exactly.
They got you through every single situation.
Every time.
Of having that baby. Y'all see, you don't have the courage to be Black. You don't have the belief that you can be anything within the knowledge of your own self. You don't trust yourself and you don't raise your children to do the same.
Exactly.
Ain't nothing wrong. And I said ain't. Ain't nothing wrong.
Ain't not a damn
with
thing.
You elevating, having more than your family members. Ain't nobody telling you not to do that. Do that. But make sure you still keep your family involved. I'm telling you that your kids, your family, they need to know crazy Uncle Bump and Grind.
They do.
They need to know Auntie talk shit.
Yeah.
They need to know every single bit of it. To not know is a problem. The biggest thing about me growing up and to this day is I'm diverse. I can engage in all kinds of conversations.
Exactly.
Always have. I was raised that way.
Mm-hmm.
I don't speak the same in all circles. And no, that's not code switching. That's the necessity of language. Because code switching is something completely different. I don't change who I am. It's just a different dialect that I speak in. All of those things are necessary. You got to be able, your children need to be diverse to roll in all situations. Now, here's the good part, though. They understand a language that generations before them didn't. They have a different understanding of white language than we ever have.
Yeah. You talking about the generation now?
Yes.
Yeah.
This generation has a different understanding because their side of things have changed and our side of things have changed.
Yeah.
So they converse very differently than any of the other generations have before.
That's the good thing about,
and that is the good thing.
Yeah, that's the good thing I believe about the internet and the wide open how stuff is, because you can talk to people across the world.
That's right.
Without writing a letter. Before he has to write letters, and you might have a pen pal or something like that, whatever. But this internet and all these social media pages, you can see someone across the world telling you what's happening. Mm-hmm. These kids telling me about the damn dark web, about how stuff goes on over there, and that's how I'm like, I don't even what. You know what I'm saying?
The dark web was real, baby.
So
okay.
That's true. And you know what? Part of learning and being a teacher is also being a student. So parents, don't be afraid to learn from your children.
Please don't.
Don't listen to them, man. If they telling you something, be like, if they say, "Hey, man, I do it like da." Listen. We're not the only ones that need to tell you what to do, how to do it. They have knowledge also that we possess, and I think that's how we lose generations sometimes, is because we don't listen to them, but we want them to listen to us. Which generation dropped the ball? Every generation dropped the ball. Speaking now, the last few generations dropped the ball because they didn't keep the land. They didn't help Big Mama and them keep the land.
That's right.
They didn't pass down the stories that Big Mama and Grandpa and Granddaddy and Uncle So didn't do it. They hid the kids from that. They said, "Oh, this is bad. You don't need to know." No. This would have helped the kids go to school and learn how to work these situations. So
absolutely. Every generation.
The 60s and the 70s, some of them dropped it because they bought into the drugs. They didn't tell us how we got the drugs and why they got hooked on it. Some of them didn't fight back the cops, which is why we still, every problem that we got now was because the generation before did not handle it. You see what I'm saying?
And they accepted the handouts, drugs.
Exactly.
And y'all are too.
Exactly.
Y'all walking around here full on zombies.
They planted the seed.
But we accepted it.
We allowed it to grow.
Exactly. We accepted it.
In my time, they believed that was the only way they could make any money for your family. And I don't understand about making money for a family that you killing.
Exactly.
Because while you may be selling to somebody else's crackhead uncle, you cannot possibly believe that it don't come back around to you. At some point, that's probably going to be your auntie or your uncle. I promise you, every single day. While you thinking it's away from your house, if it is around, it is a possibility to reach your house.
Exactly.
What goes around comes back around. That's an all day, everyday situation. Can't nobody create it. It's already created. That's how it goes down.
So everybody got to take accountability.
Every
each
last
generation.
single one.
You know what I'm saying? Every generation dropped the ball, and we're dropping the ball right now. It's been time to pick it up. You see what I'm saying? My generation, I am 57 years old. And
I most certainly take responsibility for my generation. I'm 52. I'm in that category. I most certainly take.
She says she's 50.
I take that very seriously. We dropped the ball. I've been telling my niece that since she was young, and she's in her 20s. I'm sorry. We dropped the ball. We dropped the ball because we stopped teaching. My generation is the first generation to be impressed by the previous generations instead of stepping up and teaching them. Not telling them what to do or do as I say, not as I do, but actually imparting information. We stopped talking. We stopped telling those stories because we too busy being a baddie and getting our bag and doing all kinds of shit that is possible to do simultaneously. Just because you doing it don't mean you stop teaching.
Twerking is more important.
Man, we so busy trying to hold on to our youth, and we looking older than any other generations have ever looked in the history of being black. But we so busy trying to hold on to youth. We got that shit in a chokehold. We paying a whole lot of money to look young, and we look older than any of the other generations have ever looked before.
That's true. He said he's working 70 hours a week, and this is why we looking older. And don't get it twisted. Don't get it twisted, Brother Israel. Don't get it twisted. I'm not talking down on anybody when I say anything. If we was putting those 70 hours, those 65 hours a week, them 20-hour days that 25, 35-hour days that we spend in working for massa, because believe me, I've been on the plantation too. If we put that into our culture and working for ourselves, we would be a lot further. Like you were saying earlier.
But we can't live to. We can't live to. Our appetite dictates that.
Exactly. And if we would come together,
drinking a $7 coffee. our appetite, it dictates.
We got to change what we eat metaphysically and mentally. We got to change what we want. And like you said earlier, we were so busy trying to keep up with the Joneses that we forgot that we need to start planning for ourselves. You see what I'm saying? Everything that you see now, and I'm gonna use entertainment because this is the easiest way to explain what I'm saying. Hollywood came from the Chitlin circuit. We already had that. The NBA came from you from New York, you know this. The NBA came from us already hooping. We had leagues around the country.
Shout out to the Ruckers.
There you go. We had these leagues around. Matter of fact, if you go back, I think Kareem did a documentary back in the day of what the leagues were and their specific names, because they're not coming to me right now. But if you look up, the easiest one to look up and go backward is the Globetrotters. That's the one everybody knows, the Harlem Globetrotters. Look at who they used to play. And I mean back in the 60s and the 50s. If you want to look up our comedic circuit, look up where Red Fox used to perform. Moms Mabley used to perform. Look where Duke Ellington come from. Who else? Sam Cooke. Look at where they came from before they got famous. To transfer that to our families and to law, the reason why we follow law now because we naturally have law in our culture. We follow a law, even on the street. There was a coast. I heard someone say it before. There was a code that we followed. It was certain things you didn't do, and if you did do them, the community would get together and knock you out. There's a scene in the movie John Wick where the girl did something at the Continental, and at the end of the movie, the Continental took care of it, said, "Hey man, you disobeyed the rules." Where do you think they got that from? Yeah, I remember him saying that. There are no rules anymore, no code, and you're right. And him saying that is proof to what I'm saying. There are no rules anymore, which means we previously had rules.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
But that's because we traded all that in to be savage.
Exactly.
You let your little girl sing that shit. I'm a savage, ratchet, whatever the hell she say. Yeah. All that nonsense. It's because you don't know your power. If you knew your power, you would execute what you say more carefully.
It's true.
Because all you seeing right now, when everybody be talking ish about the millennials, all you seeing is human beings living out the generations before them, wants, needs, fears, and insecurities.
Yeah. Whoa. Hold up.
Nathan.
I'm gonna answer, then I'm gonna let you answer. I'm gonna answer. You really want to be funky with it. Okay, so
that's okay.
I already know. So I'm gonna say this to that right quick. I'm gonna say this to that right quick. It's not the woman's fault. And it's not the man, it's both of our faults. Number one, if we blame the woman, you got to blame the man. Because
that's why I was going to tell you, let him.
Yeah.
Let it.
If, number one, when you say that, you kind of joining the side of the white man, putting fault, because that causes dissension. Like, oh, well, it's their fault. We're not protecting the women like we need to. We're not gathering as men saying, hey, this is what you need to do. This is what you need to do. Because our women will follow you once they have something to follow. You see what I'm saying? So it's not the woman's fault. They didn't drop the ball. It was a collection of both genders that dropped the ball. You see what I'm saying? So I can't go with that narrative, man. It's not the woman's fault. It's just as much the man's fault as anybody's fault. Because we got to step up. Unless us men is sitting over here going to get these police, having meetings in the house like, hey, brother, they just took out another one. What we going to do? All right, this is what we going to do. All the women on call, get the bandages ready, get the herbs ready, because some of us might come in wounded. Unless we giving them something to do, then we can't say that. Now, if we sitting over here doing something like, hey, y'all need to do this, and they don't show up with the bandages because they're on the internet doing something or they out partying, then those particular women, you can say it is, but I guarantee you it's not going to be all of them. Go ahead. Say what you're going to say.
So I got a little bit of a lie.
I need some liquor for this one. I wish I would have brought. No.
I want to start out first by saying thank you, brother, for that. And I want to say peace to you before I start this conversation. There's a duality of responsibility. That you put up there is the Adam's defense. And Adam is the Adam of Adam and Eve. Because as the story goes, Adam never took responsibility. He said, it was you. It was the woman that you gave me.
Ooh.
He did a double dose of blame and never took responsibility according to the story. And those talks and instructions was given directly to him. The woman was not present for that conversation to know. So when she began to entice him with something he knew good and damn well he wasn't supposed to do, that was his job at that point to say, absolutely not. I've been instructed differently, and here's what you need to do. Now, I do agree with you. However, it is our fault. It's our fault because there's a duality of responsibility. So we have to take full responsibility for the part in which we played in it, as do you, respectfully. Again, there's a duality of responsibility. You can't have something come from you and you not be responsible for her. So if the story is correct and I'm your rib, I came from your body, how irresponsible is it of you, my brother, to not take care of your rib? I also want to say again with saying I'm laughing because I saw him pull it up.
man.
I want to
Ooh, wee,
continue
man.
to say this again respectfully, but understanding there is a duality of responsibility. A woman is made to give birth to whatever it is that you give her. Whatever you give to her, she is going to reproduce. If you give her hell, she can't give you heaven. Now, you're going to say to me, I'm sure, no, it's a whole bunch of women who, then again, my brother, is your choice. That is the problem. It's not the woman, it's the woman you chose. And again, that's your responsibility. We are responsible as women. We're responsible for the choices that we make and the selections of men that we choose and the men that we choose to procreate with, because that is important for reproducing the continuance of our saga, either in elevation or at a detriment. So, yes, it is our fault.
That's his response.
For the part that's our fault.
That's his response.
It's definitely both. But what I'm saying is the woman can change the type of men that are being produced. Yep, you're right. By choosing better men to reproduce with, because we reproduce whatever it is we receive. So we have to be careful about what we choose to receive. I said this before. A woman gives life and birth, death and life, I'm sorry, from two orifices, her mouth and her vagina. So everything that we choose to receive in either one, we need to be selective, because then our output is going to reflect our input. So yes, it is our fault.
He pretty much agreed with you too. He said this.
That the one required a better. Hey, that's true. The man will choose but to conform to what they want.
Isn't that basically what you
yes, and but he does. We are never, not any one single human being is ever without choice. It's the gift that we were given.
That's true.
We are never without choice.
Brother Israel coming in, he's saying pointing fingers is not going to change nothing.
Absolutely not.
He was talking about the law. I've been seeing some of his stuff. Young women today, what did he say? Finger pointing, blaming. Hey, that if we're going to go anywhere, we can't point fingers. Because you know what? Pointing fingers, I say this all the time, man. I went to that church, that pastor was, that's the one thing I took. When you point, if you point your finger right now, you got three pointing back at you. So if you pointing the finger at somebody, you got to first look at yourself. And that's just simple math coming from your body. You see what I'm saying?
You always got to look at yourself. There's never a time when you do not, even when you are absolutely 100% right, you still have to look at yourself.
Exactly.
Wherever you go, there you are. You can't run from yourself. There's nowhere to hide. You are responsible either for your choices or for your decisions. But there's always responsibility and accountability that's going to fall upon you. And the reason why we point fingers is because we subscribe to a system. The system is designed with one thing and one thing only in mind: divide and conquer.
Exactly.
And if you're stupid enough to let it divide you when all it takes is a conversation,
true,
then that's on you.
True.
You the boo-boo, the fool. You fell for the rabbit in the tailpipe, whatever, however all them stupid things go, it's on you.
A woman can change a lot, but this is not bad. Hey, I agree with you.
Yes, I agree.
I also, the men could change not wanting to be niggas and gangsters and stuff all the time too. I agree on both sides. Like, and as a man, I got to talk about what we doing. We got to stop trying to be. I used to say this back in the day, man. We trying to be Tupac and MLK. You see what I'm saying? We're trying to be this hard thug, and both images were provided for us. We don't sit in the tone with self. And I think that's what's missing with our culture.
Well, your environment doesn't also. So then that's when we get into the inter-exchange of things. Mm-hmm. That's when we get inside of our community. But we too busy having so many things on the outside of our community. We don't have enough breath and rest really to talk about to get to the things on the inside. We too busy protecting, guarding, reacting. We got too much surviving. We got too much going on. We have too much going on the outside to even get to the nucleus, to get to the heart of it. I had once had a Rasta man tell me, it's your fault. He said to me the same thing this brother's saying is y'all's fault. And I was pissed off because my initial response was, I'm not responsible for you, man. You're a whole grown adult male. And then I had to walk away and realize it is. This is why I don't believe in feminism. This is why I don't believe I have to fight with the man for my power, because clearly I have some, as exemplified in what the brother said. I clearly do have power. I have the power to change anything. All of the things that have transpired to current day, we led that. The conversations that he talked about, how we dance, we led that. And our men for centuries have succumbed to that. And the reason why they succumb to it, even the feminism of it, is one, which y'all don't give black men no credit for, they enjoy pleasing us. And I'm not talking about sex. They enjoy us being happy. Okay? It's an enjoyment for them. Two,
I agree, brother Israel.
Two, because they have been protecting our virtues since forever. Most men who left homes, a lot of them left because of the infighting. A lot of them left because a lot of things we were doing that they would never put out in the street. Although brothers nowadays will put that out there in the street. They will talk about y'all. They will call y'all all kinds of names. They will talk about, that's why that's not my baby. All that stuff. Back in the day, they never did that.
Yeah.
They protected the woman's virtue, because this shit that's going on, baby daddy, this ain't new. Hell, the first baby mama was in the Bible. So this ain't none of this new. Okay? The way human beings been human being has been since the creation. Okay? So it's nothing new. It might be called different things, might be different. All this conversation we have about babies having babies. Women been having babies since they've been getting their period since the beginning of time, and that's at 11 or 12 years old. So let's all of that nonsense that we talk about is not realistic. It didn't just happen. It's always been. Those are not our issues. Our issues of just human being are not our issues. So black men have been protecting black women's virtue since the beginning of time.
True.
They never talked to us crazy. Those issues in relationships and relating were not our issues. We took on those issues, and then we fed them spiritually and physically with that. The white woman has been emasculating her son since the beginning of time. Black women just started doing that in the last few decades.
I gotta add to what you just said. We taking on issues with ourselves,
but that's what happens when you covet.
Yeah.
When you covet what other people have and want what other people have, you end up with what they got.
Exactly.
Every single time.
Yeah. We've been provided issues, Willie Lynch, you're right. We've been provided issues for our culture. And those issues have came in. Like you said, there's wars on every level. Light skin, dark skin, the brown paper bag. That started an issue because white folks wasn't smart enough to know that black comes in different shades. So they thought the lighter people were white people without a tan.
And they couldn't look in their damn face and see that they black is all good.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? So and even now today in relationships, man, there was one of these little posts on the internet that said women take on, there'll be posts asking questions, stupid stuff like, oh, does your man speak to you loud? And if he does, do you let it happen? It's like, what are we talking about right now?
Absolutely nothing.
You see what I'm saying? Like, we're not talking about nothing. So some of this stuff, in order for us to evolve, we got to stop taking on issues that's provided for us. You see what I'm saying? So
because you're creating your own problems and your own enemy.
It creates extra
within your house, for no reason. But that has everything with the food that you eat. And I'm not talking about physical food, mental food, spiritual food, all of it. You keep having this music, all these different things that are paid to feed you these messages. I mean, if you feed on it, you cannot help but to become a part of it. I'm sorry, if I feed on enough fat stuff, my body can't help but to respond and become fat. I mean, or unhealthy or whatever the case may be. You can't help it.
And to be honest, like you were talking, quoting the song earlier about being a bad bitch and all that. If we wouldn't listen to that type of music, that wouldn't even be in our atmosphere.
And they wouldn't keep producing it.
Exactly.
Obviously, it's not popular, but if it's popular.
Because a lot of sisters I know do not like that.
No.
They only so-called twerk for their man. Their man's the only one to see him twerk. The man to see him half naked.
Yeah, and that's the funny thing about that. If you see, but the reason why that works is because there's a whole bunch of men not minning.
Exactly.
So it's not important. They don't care about it. And if men are not minning, then women hoeing 24/7, and for lack of better words, at this moment, it doesn't matter.
That's true. And you know what?
I don't care if you do that.
I put that on one thing my dad always told me, man. Don't let every woman have your dick, your penis. Don't go inside every woman. Have value to yourself. So, and like you said,
if
women
you do,
hoeing,
you just the janitor.
Exactly.
That.
If we going inside every woman or all women that we meet just because they got a pretty face, a nice behind, nice tits, whatever it is, or they easy to get, you devalue yourself.
You absolutely do.
You devalue yourself. And if you don't consistently stand up for your women, and I don't mean always slapping somebody. I mean, if you hear someone say black women ain't nothing, they do, hey, wait, stop. Let me say this. This is not an argument. I'm going to shut down this nonsense. My women are A, B, C, and D. If you're going to have this conversation, have it out yonder. You know what I'm saying? But don't have it in my vicinity. So we got to start, like she said, we got to start manning. We got to start minning. You know what I'm saying? Being men. We got to start protecting our culture, all women. Stop letting these lies go around talking about, oh, all women do is. That's not what we do, man.
But that has to do with you. That still has to do with
exactly.
you. If you're not that type of man, and the same thing for the women. I'm not about to have that all men are dogs conversation. I'm not doing that with nobody.
Yeah.
There ain't enough black men, good black men. You could forget about having that. A real man, I don't do those conversations because a real man is determined when he is born, and the doctor do, it's a boy to the penis. That's a real man.
Exactly.
I don't know what else a real man is. So all those other crazy conversations y'all be, I don't do it. I'm not engaging just to chit chat with you in the neck, because all of that is a vibration, is an energy that will expel itself and manifest itself in something else.
Exactly.
I'm on unsubscribe. And if you keep trying to subscribe me after I already told you I unsubscribe, we're going to have more of a problem. I don't entertain those kind of conversations whatsoever.
I want to go to Israel right quick before you go to the throne. That's who you're going to?
No.
Energy is definitely a thing.
No,
and
I was trying to get.
Absolutely, it does.
I was trying to get everybody. I have Mr. Barry Thompson, Miss Denise Kinder, Miss Joyce Pinchback Schofield, Mr. Edward Laverne, and We That West commenting on my personal page. Y'all, please go to Real Talk 100 Radio on Real Talk 100 Radio Facebook page or YouTube page to comment. I cannot see your comments unless I come out of what you're watching, unless I come out of Real Talk 100 Radio and go to my personal, because I know Facebook is hating. I know that they're not showing all the comments. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm just letting y'all know that I see your comments now. And Joyce is with you. She says, you're right. I want to shake my butt for my husband.
Exactly.
You're supposed to.
That's how it's supposed to be.
That's how it's
and
supposed
all
to
black
be.
women are like that.
That's
all black women are like that. Like the women when I was younger, they wasn't trying to give it up. Like well, we not. Why you trying to touch on me and you're not with me? You don't want to be with me.
Don't.
I had to change. I'm like, dang.
Because here's the thing: if that's the case, then what do you have to give him when he comes along?
Exactly.
And then here's the other thing: all of those exchanges that he is now connected to, and I'm not just talking the obvious Planned Parenthood route, STDs, all that. Y'all know about those. Campaigns are done about those.
Yeah.
But ain't no campaign done about the fact that you now have him engaged in this energy that you have exchanged with some other men. And same thing for the men. You now have me exchange. That's why we can't get nowhere. In the first parts of our relationships, we fighting off all the past stuff. We engage with each other and engage with the others that came before us. So we're not even to me and you yet. We're not even to you and I yet.
You know what?
It doesn't work.
It doesn't. You're right. And you know what? In order to change brutality, I think this is the we're talking about psychology being bullied. We got to stop bullying each other. When we get in these relationships, we got to learn that person. You know what I'm saying? So if you still have trauma from your past relationship, two things. One, don't enter another one. Two, let that person know where you coming from. Say, hey man, I might be doing this because of the last relationship, but don't ever put the energy that somebody else put on you on the new energy in your life. If I've had a co-host or before her and I didn't like that co-host, I can't be like, hey man, I need you to stop looking at me when you do this. And she's like, wait, what? Because I'm so obsessed still in what the previous person did. So we got to stop doing that. And I think when we stop doing that, and also when we stop looking at these internet posts, this how to be a man written by comedians and stuff like that, we can start having true relationships with each other. You see what I'm saying? Then we'll start truly loving each other.
That's right.
You see what I'm saying?
And then that's when we get to have good sex.
Exactly. That's when you have the great sex.
That's when you have the amazing sex.
That's when we stop letting police and educational systems. Because if you loving each other, then when you have these kids, both of y'all is loving these kids. So it's like, oh man, look what we created. Look what we got here. Right. Hold on. You ain't gonna touch them.
That's right.
The love is not gonna let you do that.
Nope.
And once we start loving each other, that's when we stop having brutality done to us by enemies and oppressors. Because we actually love each other. I think one of our problems is right now we don't love each other. I can tell, and I'm not knocking Brother Nathan. I can tell, and as Brother Israel said earlier, where's the mortality went? We don't got no mortality to us anymore. And morality, my bad. Yeah, we need to have mortality. Our morality is left. My bad. Our morality is left. We don't have any morale for our relationships, and we letting everything come in to disperse us from each other.
Yes, sir.
What good does it profit a man to gain the whole world and lose his soul? You lost your soul. You have disconnected from yourself because you traded it in. You sold it.
Mm-hmm.
You sold your soul to have a piece of gold. The gold wasn't even real.
Exactly.
And it's hollow.
Exactly. And it's not real. It's not the currency that we need.
And in that part.
You know what I'm saying? We you know what? Our vision is lost. We looking at gold and stuff is to get something. Do you know that they built the pyramids, Mexico on up, with their mentality? Hey, we need to harness electricity. We need to harness the sun. We need to have somewhere to store our collectibles and what we do.
You need, you already have.
We already got it.
You already have it. You already own it.
Exactly.
But none of it will mean anything if you don't own yourself.
Exactly.
If and you are lost to yourself.
When we start loving ourselves, then we can love each other.
That's right.
And I think one of the problems is right now we don't love ourselves, and we get to relationships not loving ourselves, wanting someone to love us. And you said this before, but how can we know if you love us if we don't yet love ourselves, which is how domestic problems start. Physical domestic, mental domestic problems start.
And hate on hate crimes of one another.
Exactly.
Because I look at you and I see the hate that I have for myself.
Exactly.
I don't love or respect anyone because you deserve it or because you need it. I give it to you as a gift because I love me, because I respect me, because I honor me, because I trust me. Everything in that respect has to do with me. Why y'all out here working this selfish angle in a very different way to extract everything you need from other people for what you're missing to fill in your Swiss cheese holes? It is the selfish is you should be a little bit about yourself. Anything that ends with ish means a little bit about. I'm gonna be there around 10ish. Somewhere around a little bit about.
Yeah.
You should be a little bit about yourself. Because if you're not, how do I tell you I love you and I don't even love my damn self? How do I give you something? I can't tell you can have some of my coffee if I ain't got one.
Yeah, exactly.
That doesn't make any sense. How can I give you a piece of me that I don't have for myself? And how am I supposed to trust you loving me? And I see you exemplifying you don't love your damn self. That's absolutely crazy. I don't want that. You don't care for yourself. You don't take care of yourself. When we as women talk about hoish dudes, why you sleep with him? And vice versa. You talking about she a hoe, but you put your whole penis inside of the hoe.
Exactly.
And you don't question yourself. I'm confused. Stop the madness.
It take two to tango.
Stop the madness. I'm not sure how one don't make the other. Y'all just two hoes hoeing together.
Exactly.
She can't possibly be more of a hoe than you. It's not possible. Do the math. And that's the problem. Y'all done took yourself from two things that you were always had as a people: your intellect and your intuition, your discernment, your natural born gifts. You don't allow yourself to separate from that because you separate it from your soul. You need to make that connection back to your soul so you can make the connection to everything else. Because if you don't, you can't. You absolutely cannot, because you're just giving from a place that's hollow, a place that you don't have. That's why y'all giving birth to all these zombie ass kids out here, because you hollow, you empty. So you giving birth to empty ass children. And you could be mad at me for that, but you know I don't really care about that.
I got to jump in. Because I've had plenty of experiences with where people, you're telling them to love themselves, but a lot of people love you more than they love themselves.
That's dangerous.
They love their kids and
That's
everybody
dangerous.
else more than they love themselves.
That's dangerous.
And then when someone comes in their lives, and tries to rewire them to love, hey, I appreciate you loving me, but I need you to love yourself. I see you loving me more than you love you, and I'm not feeling that. I've come across this
Of course.
several times, and they repel you. It's like, how dare you
Repel you, self-sabotage. It's a lot of things.
How dare you talk to me that way? I'm loving you, and you're complaining, and I'm like, yes, because I want you to love you equally as much as you love me. And so how do you combat that? Do you have any ideas?
You just tell that person to love themselves, man. And sometimes you gotta, I'm not saying separate, like never talk to them again, but you gotta live and walk their path. Because if you really love somebody, you're not afraid to let them go so they can better themselves.
That's
right. You see what I'm saying? I can't sit here and tell you to love yourself. At the same time, I can't be with you loving me if you don't love yourself. So that's how much I love you, and that's how much I love me.
Myself. Yep.
You see what I'm saying? So I need you to learn, and you can help them, motivate them, tell them things that they could do, but make sure they come up with things that they need to do, because I don't know what's going on in your head. So you need to sit there. A lot of people hate to sit alone.
Yeah, that's
they hate to sit alone.
But
man.
that's why a lot of women get caught up, right?
Yeah.
Because they're caught up in not understanding why a relationship didn't work, because I did everything. That's because your love is out of duty. And you don't love yourself enough to give somebody of yourself from a very real place. That's different. That can't be refuted. That can either be received or a decision made to not receive it. But if you just duty in your love, I did all these things, you only gonna turn around and disappoint yourself. Because you can't out duty or duty enough somebody into loving you. And that has a lot to do with because you trying to get something from them, again, trying to fill those holes in your Swiss cheese that even you don't even understand. Because if you understood it, you wouldn't be out here like that. Can't nobody make you happy. Can't nobody feel what's missing. You got to connect. You keep running from yourself. That's why you can't get to it. Even the Bible says the only way to me is through the Son. Newsflash, you are the son. The son, which is the child. I have to get through to me to have the best relationship with the higher power and others and community and my family and my children. Because that's why you feel depleted. That's why you tired, because you're given from a place that is man-made, and that runs out. You got to tap into something that's a way higher elevation if you really gonna give and truly experience that, because it is a whole experience. It's a whole experience to love one another. And you are absolutely right. That part would stop brutality. I had a friend of mine one time, and I witnessed her telling her son, he was in junior high school at the time. He's a whole grown man with his own family. But at the time, he was in junior high school, and he was being bullied. And I witnessed my friend tell her son, Bryce, you don't have to put up with that, because you got a family. You got people that love you. So when you said that reminded me of that. I never forget it. I always compliment her on it to this day. That's the most empowering thing you could tell your child. I ain't got to put up with this. Yeah. I got a whole family, a whole community, people who look like me that love me. You crazy as hell. I do not have to.
Exactly.
I will not.
Exactly. I want to the Pocket USA. But you're right. If we start loving each other, the minute we start, this is one of the cures to any type of brutality with us. When we start loving each other, hey, and just simple love. The brother said he works 70 hours a week, man. They hit me hard. We gotta love each other enough to sit down and be like, all right, what can we do to change this, to stop this? Because there's too many of us out here working 70 hours a week for another company and not getting nothing for ourselves.
We gotta unsubscribe from the big purse theory.
Exactly.
Right? Because
Exactly.
women, y'all know this. We have a certain size purse, and then we fill it up, and then we be like, I need a new purse. This one is too small, and then we get a bigger purse, and we fill that one up. Sometimes we even put the smaller purse inside that purse and fill it up. We do that with our people. We do that with our finances. We do that with our relationships. We keep replacing. We don't stay committed long enough to see things come through fruition. That vendetta, that hatred that China got towards America, they had that for centuries. They ain't letting it go. You gotta stay. Most of this stuff has happened, and you see manifest. It takes at least a decade before anything you put into place right now, whether it be on earth or in the heavens, for you to actually see it in its fullest manifestation. It takes at least,
you're right.
But for the generations to be actually on autopilot and living it out, it takes centuries. And if we can't be consistent in the moment because we off to the next good time, which I have a theory that every other generation is the party and bullshit generation. That's why you get along with your grandparents. More so than you do your parents. Because your grandparents and you were the conscious generation. Your kids and y'all are the most, they get along because they party and bullshit. That's just my theory. Y'all could think about that throughout the course of life and talk to your family. My parents were the party and bullshit generation. Myself and my grandparents were the generation who took this stuff more seriously about our culture.
That's true.
My mother's generation was party generation, and my nieces and nephews are the party and bullshit generation.
Yeah.
The next generation will probably be a more conscious generation. But just think about it. It's just my theory. Ain't nothing on the books.
I got a couple elders I get along with, and they're like, I feel what you're saying, nephew.
Yeah.
You know, whatever. But yeah, you're right on that. Now you got my head turned. The Pocket USA, man, get in touch with me.
Yeah, that's I wrote that down.
Okay,
so
cool.
It's something we can
the Pocket USA. Get in touch with me. R.A.U.L.I Radio on Instagram. NRZ8556 on Instagram. Facebook is NR Zulu. Get in touch with me, man, because I want to work with anybody who's serious. And we can come on here and talk about it on here, but if you got something in place right now that's preventing it, I can play my part. Let me know what I can do. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm down for preventing. That's one thing we need to do too, is start putting prevention in place. We're very reactionary, but they teach you in boxing and martial arts. You can kind of damn near predict what your opponent's going to do if you watch how they move.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes. And the zebra has not changed its stripes
at all.
Because why would it? It's work, right?
Exactly.
The blueprints work. So why would it change? Which also, though, in turn makes it predictable.
Exactly. So definitely, thanks. I'm reaching out. Oh, that's what I'm talking about. And anybody else who wants to do something.
Thank you.
Anybody else who wants to do something, hit me up, man, because I'll meet up with you. Man. We can come on the show. That's cute. Let me reiterate what R.A.U.L.I Zone is real quick, what R.A.U.L.I Radio is. Rebooting and uniting lost energy, right? I'm on here so you can go back and watch the show and see what I'm about. Watch my consistency on what I do. Look who I affiliate myself with. Look at the people I come on here. Look what I say, how I respond. So you can get my energy, at least a little bit of it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not high. I'm not drunk. And even when I am high, which I don't get high anymore, and I really don't get drunk anymore. But if you catch me, you catch me. But I'm the same way, just more invigorated or more vigorous with it. But anyway, I'm like this 24/7 with my kids, with my wife, with my mom. Ask my family, they tired of me. Oh, here he go again. Here he go again.
Same here.
You know what I'm saying? I hate to say it like this. I know my brothers love me. they love me. But when my family, when they know when I start talking, like, here we go. What the white man do this time? Why the Negroes do this? Why, whatever. They tired of me. So I'm like this 20. I've been like this since birth, to be honest with you.
Same here.
I didn't start in high school. Since I came out the womb, I was like, man, these white folks making me itch. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've always been like this and had a reason for being like this.
I never took the Pledge of Allegiance.
I always sat during that too. I started drawing little stick figures. Yep. You know what I'm saying?
And I didn't understand it. I didn't understand it to explain it.
Yeah.
It was just, this ain't right and I'm not doing it.
When I heard the words of it, I was like,
words.
I pledge allegiance to the flag to the United. Wait.
Yep.
You killed some of my cousins?
That's right.
Not to mention that you teaching me this shit in school, that you was doing this on a regular basis, because I didn't hear the part where we were slaves. I heard the part, how come we were slaves and y'all weren't?
And in school, they used to ask I would always have the conversation, I would always fail history. And great, I got all A's, and they'd be like, what is your struggle with history? I don't, and I said, I don't memorize lies. And I used to get in trouble all the time. I'm like, I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah.
When did, and then so when did I don't know. And they'd be like, yes, you do. We study. No, I didn't study it.
Yeah.
You said it, but I didn't study it, and I don't know.
I used to get into it with every history teacher in school. I'd be like, you're lying.
Yep.
And I would come in and say, well, it's not what it says in the book. Time out. Tomorrow I'll bring you another book. Now I'm gonna need you to add this to your book. Because in none of them, these are grown men I'm going with. Because that would be one of the only classes I would show up to in school.
Yep.
History is when? Bet. I'll get on you about math and numbers. I got that, but I'm one of the masters or guys in history, because I'm like, wait a minute. First off, I'm gonna tell you what my grandma told me. Then I'm gonna backdoor and use your shit. Because your shit said, matter of fact, let's read some of George Washington's letters real quick, the ones you're not telling us about. Where did he get his name from? Matter of fact, let me show you another George Washington that came before. Anyway, I was the same way in history. And
then you would have to prove to me that y'all are white for real, because y'all made a law that said one drop. What? So all y'all black.
Exactly.
So I was a problem for teachers in a low-key way, because I wasn't like loud or nothing.
True.
I wasn't trying to grab everybody up.
Nope.
Right here at my desk, just leave me alone.
That's how I was.
Just leave me alone.
Leave me alone. But you're not going to tell me this nonsense.
No, you're not.
And the same thing in science. You're not going to tell me this nonsense.
Yep.
You giving me this Piccadilly shit. How come we paying light bills? Teach me how to make this fluorescent. Matter of fact, teach me how to get this running water like you teaching me. How can I apply this to my apartments or my house? Because they charging me. You know what I'm saying? And if it's free, and if we can do this by mixing these two things together and rubbing rocks together, how come we, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, same thing with me with that.
Absolutely.
If we would start doing that, if we start learning our culture, start learning the sciences. Uh-oh, we got a call. Bring it in. Welcome to the R.A.U.L.I show. Give us your name, where you're calling from, and if you don't want to tell us your name for some reason, that's cool too. And what you want to say. What's up?
Hey, what's going on, man? How you doing? It's the Pocket USA. I'm very intentional of what I'm trying to do to stop police brutality, man.
What's up?
With you, man.
What's up?
How you feeling, my brother? How you doing, my sister? How you guys doing?
Oh,
hey,
man,
King,
we good.
How you doing?
Hearing the energy.
I'm doing great.
You got me live, man.
Right?
Hey, man, I'm very intentional of what I'm trying to do to make a difference in this world, man. And when I hear police brutality, hey, man, my heart start bouncing a little bit faster, man, because I want to make a difference in this world, man.
I dig it.
And I see anybody and everybody who's trying to do what I'm doing, man, we can do it together. That'll make it go faster, make it go better. Instead of trying to do it individually to make it take longer for people to process it and understand what we're trying to do, the more we get together, we come together with 20 and 30 and 40 people, it can go faster, man. So it's a saying that say, if you want to go fast, do it by yourself. But if you want to go far, you need to get some help.
That's right. That's right.
So
That's a beautiful.
when I see anybody on the same mission that I'm on, man, I'm reaching out. I want to get connected. I want to show you my product, what I'm trying to do, and I want to get your information so we can work together, man, so we can stop it.
Hey, man, that's love. That's love, man. I dig that. I'm feeling that.
So are you out in Houston?
Yeah, I'm in Houston. I'm in Houston, man. I'm born and raised in Houston. And I've been on this mission since Philando Castile was murdered. My son was 16 years old in driver's ed, man, and I didn't want this problem landing on my doorstep. So I had to come up with a solution. Stop complaining about this problem we having, come up with a solution, because the more we don't do nothing, the closer and closer it's going to get to our doorstep.
Yo.
So I wanted to make sure that this problem don't land on my doorstep. So I came up with a solution, man, that I think that benefits a lot of people, man. I've been traveling over the world, man. I got mayors and police chiefs calling me to come to their city now. Like at the beginning, of course, it was slow, but once, like you say, they see the consistency, they see the pedigree. I've been pushing this product. Now they reaching out to me.
So when y'all gonna meet up?
We can meet up ASAP.
Hey, how late can I call you, man? This thing gonna be over at around. Well, we only got a few minutes left now. You want me to call you tomorrow?
No, you can call me tonight, my brother. I'm gonna be in my truck. I drive trucks at night and I do the pocket stopping police brutality during the day. So you can call me when we get off.
Are you in Houston, sir?
Yeah, he's in.
Yes, sir. I'm in Houston.
Yep.
Yeah, I am.
Did you hit me up on R.A.U.L.I or R.A.U.L.I?
What did I seen I want to say on Facebook. I seen you was talking to someone, and that's the crazy thing. They was talking about something else, but you said, "Hey man, I'll deal with that later. I got a show tonight about police brutality." Boom, that hit me. That hit me. Everything come to us for reasons, man.
That's right.
For reasons.
Okay.
And that hit me, and right then and there, I reached out to you. I think I sent you like a message on Facebook or something. And then they say, get into this show. I get on this page so I can talk to you guys. So that's what I did.
Oh, that's what I told him that.
Okay. I don't got you on my Facebook. You ain't send no message. You sent it to NR Zulu?
Nah, I thought that it was some kind of, it was a post, and you commented on the post. I don't even know the post, brother. I just seen that you commented on it, and you was like, I can't deal with this right now. I got a show I'm finna do about stopping police brutality. And that's it.
It's probably me.
Okay. Hey, I'm gonna take this down. NRZ 8556.
Hold on, let me write this down.
Yeah, if you can. Now you're not getting off the phone till you get this.
Oh yeah, we finna get all this information right now.
Hell yeah. Oh man, you got me live. Okay.
Say what is it again?
Is NYAR
Okay.
8556.
Okay, what is this?
That's my Instagram. Do you want my Facebook? I'll give you my Facebook is NR Zulu.
No, I'm finna hit you on Instagram right now. NYAR 8556. I'm finna hit you right now, brother.
Hit me up right now.
And then we can connect. I'm gonna leave my number and all my information for you.
Perfect.
All right, I appreciate the time, man. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, cool.
All right, man. Have a great night. Drive safe.
Okay, you guys be safe. Have a good one.
All right. So we talked a lot about brutality on a lot of different levels tonight.
Yeah,
for sure. Listen here. I don't care what we discuss, for how long we discuss it, it's all going to come back to you. You always going to be directed straight up back to you. And I think that's one of the most beautiful solutions that you gave, was we got to start loving ourselves and loving each other, right? The respect that we have, that we show and have for ourselves, is the respect that we show and have for others. Like my friend told her son, you ain't got to put up with this. You got people who love you. All of y'all got people who love you. You don't have to put up with this. You don't have to put up with any forms of brutality whatsoever. If you are, I need you to understand you are exercising the gift that you have, and that's choice. And I understand some situations and circumstances are harder to get out of than others, but they're not impossible. You understand me? You're able to. All you got to do is stand the fuck up.
True. You want to say something else?
That's it.
We talked about a lot of stuff, man. I'm gonna sum it up. We're gonna get out on time this time out. Ain't gonna keep you here all night. Like she just said, we talked about a lot of stuff, but you're right. If you really want to stop this brutality in on all forms, on all levels, all tiers, whatever you want to say, you do got people who love you and love the cause enough to be like, the brother just called, man, and he felt it, and we about to connect. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking for your message like a kid on Christmas, man. You know what I'm saying? I sure am. But I told him NRZ 8556. Did I say that?
Yes.
Okay, cool. But anyway, we gotta just do it, man. We gotta start loving each other. There it is. I think that's where I got it. Oh yeah, bet. So we gotta just start doing it. We gotta start. I say this on every whatever we talking about, like you said, whatever we talking about. The Pocket USA. Yeah, I just looked you up too. Whatever we talking about, whatever we doing, any type of brutality that's on our culture, the steps number one, you can put it in any number you want to. Accountability. We got to take accountability. What can I do to change? The brother just said, I don't want this landing on my doorstep. So what I'm going to do is do something so it doesn't land on my doorstep. And anybody who wants to do that, I'm going to work with them. He said, let's interject each other's ideas. That means he's willing to listen and give directions. And I got to be willing to listen and take directions.
Absolutely.
Man or women, we got to be willing to listen and take directions. You know what I'm saying? We can't always, I said do it like that. I said, no. You got to be able to take direction. We got to stop pointing finger because that's the wrong direction. In order for us to, he didn't tell me, well, maybe you should. He just said, man, let's work together. And if we really love each other, we just got to work together.
We don't always have to agree.
No.
Because that's not what it's about.
No.
We got to always do what's in the best interest of the unit. But you got to know what the unit is.
Exactly.
And be committed to the unit.
On that note, I'm a sports fanatic, so forgive me. I relate what you just said with sports. People talk that shit about Tom Brady all they want to. New England, Tampa Bay will offer that man $30 million a year, and he'll say no. Just give me 15 or 20. Pay my offensive linemen. Pay my running backs. Pay my receivers some of that $30 million, so we can win.
Yes. Because that is how you create infighting, jealousy, envy, and the breakdown and dissension takes place.
That's right.
If you don't understand that mentality,
that's right.
I mean, here's the thing. If you are the opposite of that mentality, try living with a whole bunch of people like you and see what happens.
Right.
Y'all gonna have a flesh-eating disease.
For real. Exactly. You know what I'm saying?
You're gonna have a flesh-eating disease. It ain't never gonna work.
Exactly. Yes, ma'am.
And we got to take that Tom Brady approach, man, with our people. Anything you do is like, hey, no. I don't want all of it. Give me enough for me and my family and feed these other families.
Man, it's so much available. I just finished selling my homeboy driver here. And one more person tells me, ain't no money. And I keep seeing all these things being built and people buying things like this.
Yeah.
You're lying. It can't be
exactly.
One more thing in your there's a popular meme going around Facebook and Instagram right now too, in relation to what I just said. They'll show a picture of, on one side, they'll show a picture of James Harden, and on the other side, they'll show a picture of Robert Horry. Would you rather $50 million over the lifespan of 10 years in the NBA and have 7 rings, or $300 million for 5 years and no rings?
You talking about basketball now? You know, Kobe told Harden before he left the game that your style's not going to work. The reason why Kobe won so many championships, and Jordan won, and you know they had a good team. If Jordan was tripping, Pippen to bring it in. He brought in good players. He had my boy Rodman, and if you look at Rodman was in Detroit. He went to the Bulls and he went to the Spurs and won a championship. He another like Robert Horry. Robert Horry with the Rockets. We got to have a team. And in order to have a functioning team, we all got to play our part. You see what I'm saying? We might have a so-called superstar. That's why I always say with the show, it's not about me. It's about the message. I'm just the messenger. You see what I'm saying? It's not about
And
me.
it's
It's about what
okay
we're
for
doing.
somebody to be the breakout star.
True.
For all, speaking of sports, for all y'all Negroes who didn't take the fall for Mike Vick, you dumb.
Don't get me
You
started on
stupid.
Vic, man.
You stupid. You let your money man, your ace, you let the star player go down. Now what y'all doing?
For real.
Nothing.
Dumb.
Nothing.
Just dumb. That's so it's okay that you have the star player on your team. The
True.
breakout is every group has it. Every group has the one that can encompass it. And all you do is hold them up. That's
True.
why you got to check yourself, because you can never be that person. So if I can never be that person, what is the point in helping his demise? And how do we all benefit from his demise or her demise?
Exactly.
That don't make no sense. Now we all sitting around here with no money, not eating, or whatever, or no life, or whatever the case may be. How does that make sense? If that person, and we all play in a position, because in sports everybody has a position to play. If we all are the kicker, then how the hell do we get anything else done?
Yeah, exactly.
If we all on offense, then what is the defense part?
Exactly.
How do we win again? I'm confused.
Exactly. Exactly.
And I don't even know about sports like that for real. But
Kobe had Paul, he had Shaq, the Spurs. I remember Bruce Bowen. Right now, I know State Warriors. I'm not a big fan of them because they're not in Houston. But anyway, I respect them. You got all defensive players that don't get no credit. Ori was one of them. He hit the big shots. He didn't need to score 50. But when it was time to get in them finals and you needed a shot, that's why they call him Big Shot Rob. He was going to make that, and he proved it every time.
Single time.
Every team he went to, he got it. So, and you know what? You're right. I might be the so-called star of this damn team. But if you follow my lead, we're going to have a fucking atmosphere where everybody eating. Because
and you want that kind of star, right?
Yeah.
If he's the star of the team, but he makes sure everybody's straight, I'm really trying to understand why y'all think that's a problem, because you need some attention.
Exactly. And check this out. I don't even want the damn attention. If you want to go out here and do something, that's cool. But follow my lead so everybody can eat. Because the minute you mess up my stuff, that means everybody else is going to lose,
suffers.
and I'm not tolerating that shit.
Everybody suffers.
Everybody suffers. You see what I'm saying? So when this thing is popping and I'm meeting up with people, whatever, follow the lead. Because I'm going to meet up with other leaders, and you're going to need to follow their lead so we can get y'all where y'all need to be going. Because everybody's not willing to come on in front of a camera, even if it's just a few viewers, and put their spirit out like that. You see what I'm saying?
People are attracted to different people for any reasons. For different reasons. Plus, the star, I'm telling you, you don't want that kind of smoke.
Shit.
You don't want what they have to deal with. Because after people embrace you as the standout star, they get weird. They want to possess you and all kinds of other shit. It gets weird. So you don't even want that for real. And you can't have it. Because my shine, my smile, my style, whatever it is, it's not yours. I keep meaning to bring my nachos. That's my thing. I'm like, everybody get a nachos.
Exactly.
It's not yours. It is not yours. Stop trying to, because you don't want the problems that come with this person being them. And shout out to my favorite female rapper, Little Kim. You could never be me. You could only resemble. All day, every day, be proud of the person that you are. You spend a whole bunch of time trying to be like somebody else. You're never going to get their shine. And the people will know it and hate you even more.
Real.
Because you are trying to get this person shine. That's their shine.
And you're taking it away from everybody who need to be eating.
For facts.
You know what I'm saying?
Now,
that's selfish.
That's the other kind of selfish.
That's messed up, man. Like,
that's low down and dirty. That's grimy.
I'm going to feed everybody. That's my mission. I'm going to feed everybody. And I take it personal if you taking food out of their mouths. I'm going to eat.
But I need to make Judases.
Exactly. That's the one thing. A lot of people that's in that position, sacrifice more than what you know, and you're not
More
gonna
than
know
you
what
want
they
to sacrifice.
exactly.
Because you're not the one to make everybody eat. You got to ask yourself, why did God allow that person to shine? Because they're going to do right by it. To whom much is given, much is required.
Exactly.
Y'all remember the gifts and talents, right? And he did that little test to see what you going to do with what I'm giving you. You can't be on that person's assignment. So back the hell off. Find your own. Be happy with you.
Play your part, man.
Play your
every
position.
part is important. I'm not a star unless everybody shines.
Every part.
Let's get that straight. If Malcolm not over here doing these comments, pushing my stuff out, dropping it in all these groups, because my knowledge is not up to date on that. If she's not telling her people, agreeing to co-host with me, even though I'm not no big 97.9 The Box type person, I'm not shining. And if I'm not shining, everybody's not eating. And I'm not trying to shine just to be blinding you. I'm trying to shine so everybody can eat, because I'm tired of seeing this shit happen. I'm tired of seeing my people not eating. It bothers me.
Y'all trying to be Eddie Kane. Eddie Kane was a crackhead. So I'm just saying.
You know what I'm saying? So, and that goes for any team that you on. It's not just saying I'm a star. Any star that you playing with, support that star, man. Support that person, because if they really about it, they're gonna make sure you eat, even if they don't show you how hungry they are at the time. You know what I'm saying?
There's literally nothing wrong with it, yo. But it has everything to do with the who that you choose to be.
Exactly.
Seriously,
exactly.
If you can't support somebody else shining, that has everything to do with you.
Exactly.
Something wrong with you.
If Outkast, Big Boy, and Andre wasn't doing stuff for each other, you know one thing I respect about them, man, they came out with their solo CDs and it was a double disc. So you had to, if you got Big Boys, you had to get Andres. If you got Andres, you had to get Big Boys. And they was featuring on each other's shit. You see what I'm saying? It's one thing I respected about them, man.
Absolutely.
So what I'm trying to say is, and I'm not saying I'm the star. If you're in a relationship with your man and your woman, support that person who's going to do more or shine more so that everybody can eat. If your woman making more money than you, help her make more money. If your man making more money than you, make sure he's comfortable. Make sure your woman comfortable when they come home, man. Absolutely. You see what I'm saying? Support that person. I'm not just talking about me. Absolutely. If Malcolm's running the radio, I'm gonna post his stuff. I'm gonna push it, because if he eating, he gonna make sure I'm eating.
That's right.
If he got somebody on the show, sponsors on the show, that's gonna make me not have to pay as much. That's gonna get more people looking at my show. That's gonna get more people noticing me. Support who the fuck ever is running shit, and stop trying to take them down. Because I'm the type of cat.
That's stupid.
It is.
It's the example of the wise and the unwise woman in the Bible. The woman builds her home with her bare hands, and she takes care of the home, and she does everything she's supposed to. And then the unwise woman plucketh it down with her bare hands. Do you know how much effort, energy it would take for you to pluck down something that you built with your bare hands?
Man,
that is beyond unwise. It's just foolishness. And you're a clown.
And you killing yourself.
Yes.
Because once you take it down, where you gonna
then what? At? What you doing?
What you gonna eat? You ain't gonna have nothing. Appreciate that, Brother Ed, man. We all hungry. You know what I'm saying? Brother Ed has his One Love ministry.
One Love every Saturday, 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Y'all need to go ahead and join those conversations. I got my queen sis that was supposed to send me some information that got the bomb sauce. I got to bring it to y'all. She makes a pepper sauce. We got a lot of people out here doing a lot of things. Do you hear me?
You know what I'm saying?
And those same 10s and 20s that you spend, you could spend on your folks. You need to stop playing. Y'all play too much.
To end it real quick, you know what? Talking about brutality, we got to start loving each other, man. That's damn near the cure to everything. You know, love goes in every cure that we need to hear anything in our culture. If we start loving each other, the culture will start to rise back.
Absolutely.
Quicker than what we think. Years will feel like weeks.
Absolutely.
We'll stop aging. I think you said this earlier when we was talking on the phone. A lot of us aging, but we're not maturing.
Yep. Oh yeah, when we was talking earlier. Yep. I said we age but we don't mature.
We're not maturing
we just
at
getting
all.
Old.
That's it.
We
just write, oh, this is my next birth. No. We need to start maturing. Aging is a spell, man. It's a curse.
And it's very evident nowadays.
You know what I'm saying?
I said earlier, I've never seen us look so old before. We got more access, more education, more money. Why?
Exactly. Why? What's holding us back, man? I tell people all the time, if you want to do, when I wanted to learn how to DJ, I had to go find a DJ to teach me how to do this stuff. I didn't have no YouTube or Instagram or Instabook or any of this crap that you can type in. Not crap, it's cool stuff. I like it.
Mhm.
I've utilized it.
Mhm.
I'm not knocking it.
Absolutely.
But I didn't have it.
Mhm.
When I wanted to go learn what they were learning in college, I used to, true story, ask my people. I went to college classes and sat in there, and I wasn't even enrolled in the school. And I sat in those college classes and learned whatever they had. All I needed was a day.
We
Because what
have
they
so
told
much in common. My mother went to college and she wasn't using her books. I was young. And she decided to take courses. I was reading her books.
Exactly. And I'm like, oh, this is what you have? Because the first day, they tell you what books you need. And if you have a major, they'll say, hey, you need to take these classes. And if you can't get the books at our bookstore, there's another place you can go to get them cheaper. Back then, it was a number. It was somebody who was selling the books at another bookstore off campus. You can go there. Wasn't no websites like that.
Yeah.
But now you can get the things on Amazon.
Yeah.
But that's what I used to do to get to knowledge, man. You know what I'm saying? If I wanted to know what happened back in the 60s and the 70s, I went to the library and got them little discs and had to run back newspaper ads to figure out what was to get my information.
I go back before you look at microfiche.
Yeah, little overhead projectors.
Yep.
Yeah, in the library.
Yes.
And then the thing is, you had to get permission from the librarian.
Yes.
Yeah. You had to get cool with the right person to get it.
And all that kind of stuff. Yes.
Oh, don't get started printing.
Y'all don't know nothing about no Dewey Decimal system that we had to learn. Like, it's real stuff.
So utilize what you got, man. We got the info. We can get it. Utilize what you got. Go get it. Don't let no one charge you for stuff that you can go get on your own. Don't be lazy. And all those steps you take, because doing that is loving yourself enough to get the knowledge. Is what I was trying to get at.
Loving yourself enough to get the knowledge. That's loving real yourself. Talk right there.
You know what I'm saying? If you love yourself enough, you like you said earlier, I don't want this on my door. What can I do?
Yeah.
And the information is more accessible now. What can I do? So to end it, first I'm going to say, let's start loving each other. If you really want to end brutality, take accountability on all parts. Police, citizens, everybody. Everybody has a part to play in it. We need to start pulling over. If you see one person pull over behind them. Get rid of your fear. Replace your fear with love. Let me say that. Replace your fear with love.
And that's to all races.
That goes for everybody. Because you know what? White folks, Asians, Mexicans.
Pull over and stop it.
Exactly. If you loved your fellow man, you would pull over him and say it in every language. No, you're not doing this. I'm right here. Some of the white people who have power pull over and say, you know what? I got something for you. I dare you to do something. And I'm going to pull out some names and I'm going to pull out some people. And if you do it, you're not going to make it to your police station. Our unity will solve 95% of our issues. He's true. We need to unite with ourselves. You know, bro, hey, that's on point. We need to unite with ourselves. And once we unite with ourselves, other people will feel our love and be like, hey, what do I need to do?
Yep.
You ever seen a couple walk in that you know love them, be like, damn, I want that.
But that's when you talk about infrastructure, that's what we're talking about, right? The infrastructure of the being. Right? So you trying to get everything from the outside, and we're scattered, covered, and smothered in names and degrees. And we got everything on, right? We got leather, lace, gold, drip. We just dripping and all kinds of things.
That means jewelry.
But,
someone told me I was dripping. I'm like, oh shit. Am I drooling or some shit? Like, what's going on? So I didn't want no one else to feel dumb.
We're dripping in all kinds of things on the outside, and yet we have not done our infrastructure.
Say that again.
We have not done our infrastructure.
Appreciate
we haven't gotten into the inside. So when you don't do that, you will destroy everything else on the outside. Exactly. I know people who have had loads of money, whether legal or illegal, but because of the constructs of their own mindset, they end up broke every time. They end up back at square one every time, but they have had mucho great big money, fame, name, all kinds of stuff, and they still can't get it right because their mindset, their infrastructure is not together.
They also end up lonely.
Yes,
They end up
absolutely.
very
It's
lonely.
you
You're
because
right on that.
you're imploding.
Yeah.
You're exploding from the inside out. So you got everything on the outside. Everybody looks at you like, damn, you famous.
Yeah.
You got the money. You got the you got everything going on. And on the inside, y'all seen it in all the superstars. You've seen it. You have disconnected. Shout out to Brooklyn Sun, the soul coach. You have disconnected from your soul on everything I love. If you're going to get to anything, you got to get through you. That's on everything.
Mine can be a part of the cycle. You need every brother in there. Yeah, that's true. Look, I say that every show. Everybody's not welcome.
Yep.
Everybody's not welcome.
Facts.
I don't care how much fire you spit in the cipher.
Absolutely.
It don't matter. If you not spitting for this culture, I can't let you in. And I'm not going to let you in. You know what I'm saying?
And then we have to decipher those who speak the language. Just because you speak the language don't mean you have the understanding.
Exactly. I don't need no more quotologists. You know what I'm saying? Like, just consistently saying, did you read this, brother? Now,
and
this
running those stats and those quotes. Yeah, absolutely. I
in
love
1956, on day 2 on Wednesday, did you know? I don't give a fuck, man. And I'm not going to debate with you about it.
I do that about all different types of scripture, about everything. Yeah. I'm not going to debate with you about all those numbers and who did what when. Who's doing what now? When? Who did what when?
Exactly.
Because they paved the way, and now you're doing what? Just sitting by being a, what you call it?
Quotologist. Yeah, you got quotologist, man. Just sitting here quoting everything. I don't care if you want to call yourself a Moor, an African, an Israelite. It don't matter.
Don't matter.
We need to do something for the culture. If you want to call yourself Brian, I don't care. You don't got to have some great big name to fuck with me. You know what I'm saying? And some of those people who do got those names, I'm not messing with you.
Absolutely. Because you're on some other ish.
Exactly.
You in the name of culture, but then you vulturing the culture on some other ish, either the kids or the women or something. You doing something else. It's all about you being superfluous to yourself. You want to be, I don't know, a guy.
You're masturbating your ego.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You're doing all this with your ego.
All day.
There you go. You're
stroking. That's what I be doing.
That's exactly what it is. So if you're not just a quotologist, you're an egoologist. I'm not running with that, man. I just need genuine people, man. I don't care how many followers you got. I don't care how many partners you got. If it's just you and you like, man, I don't know what to do. I'm trying to figure it out.
That's all that matters.
Come mess with me, man.
That's all that matters,
That's it.
Man.
That's it. You know what I'm saying? So, my bad, Malcolm. I can't be here a little bit later.
That's okay. That's okay. Yeah, that's okay. I'm going to start this over. I'm glad you caught yourself. I'm going to start this over right quick. Okay. And I want you to sum the show up with what the show is about and what the call of action is in about a minute and 40 seconds, starting now.
All right, minute 40. I just wasted a few seconds. So this is what the show is. This is the R.A.U.L.I zone, rebooting and uniting lost energy. What do I mean by lost energy? I mean every person has it in their body where they know that something ain't right. Something is just not right and it needs to be fixed. I'm using what vitamins I can so you can be healthy again and start living in that energy. Because that's your soul. We got a soul coach right here. She'll tell you the same thing more in depth. So I'm trying to reboot that energy because it's not gone. It's just lost. We all lose our keys sometimes, but we find it. So what I want you to do is find your keys. When you find your keys, drive into my driveway and let's talk about how we can use our energy together. That's what the show is about. That's what the show is about abroad.
That's right.
We were discussing police brutality, educational brutality, medical brutality, which we didn't get to. We picked up later on. How they brutalize us. And in order to stop be brutalizing, we got to love ourselves enough to heal that. So if someone does get brutalized, you love them enough to do something to stop it, to play your part to stop it. So that's what the show was about abroad, rebooting and uniting lost energy, because I want to unite what's lost. Once we unite what's lost, we can get back to what we was doing. It's good to repeat history because previously to now, we was living in unison. You know, that's why it has unison. We were living in unity with nature, with the sun, the moon, stars, all that. So, I still got time left?
It's over, but go ahead.
Cool. Go ahead. But that's what the show is about. Tonight we was talking about brutality and how to end it in order to end any type of brutality, because I'm on a metaphysical level with whatever I'm saying. Police brutality is something that happened. She called me and said this is what happened. It pisses. I didn't want to watch the video because I got to control my anger.
Can't watch it.
Yeah, I really can't, man. But brutality of any kind, in order to stop it, you must first love yourself. Because if you love yourself, you won't want to be brutal to somebody. And if you do want to be brutal to somebody, then you have some mental problems. You have some true spiritual soul problems, and you probably don't have a soul. That's a whole nother conversation. So in order to end brutality, we must love ourselves. Speaking to my coach specifically right now, in order to end this brutality on us, we got to love ourselves. We got to hug yourself, kiss yourself. Look at that man in the mirror, Michael Jackson song plug real quick.
That's right.
Look at that man in the mirror and say, man, I love you. I love you. Woman, I love you. That's right. Love everything about you. There are no flaws. That's mistaken. There are no flaws to you. You're nothing but beauty. If you're conscious of any God in this atmosphere, you know you're made with no flaws. Your only flaw is buying into society and letting society tell you what you are. But once you look in the mirror, you know who you are. You believe what you are. Write it down. Create your own Bible. You know what I'm saying? It say in the Bible, you are an image of God, which means it's in your imagination that any picture you see of yourself is what? God. So love yourself. And once you love yourself, then begin to unite with other people who love themselves, whether it's in a relationship where it's boyfriend, girlfriend, where we're working together, whatever it is, do that. And let's start making a change. And once you love yourself, if you really want to do something about strengthening, because you know what? Once our culture gets strengthened, everybody else will be strengthened. You see what I'm saying? Exactly. Once we unite and we're strong and we're being our true selves, pollution is gone. Hate is gone. Racism is gone. All that stuff will disappear damn near overnight. And there's only a few of us that want to do it. Yeah. And when I say few, 1 million, and I mean that million is scattered around the world.
That's right.
You see what I'm saying? So do that.
That's right.
That's that message. We talked about it earlier, so I'm going to go ahead and release it. We're going to have a live show. We're going to start having parties monthly. I'll get back to everybody with a date, but we'll have pre-sale tickets where if you're on this conscious level and you want to do something, you just want to mingle and talk and it leads to action, stay tuned, because we're going to start having somewhere where we can actually meet up and start doing something like the brother Brian hit me up today. I want that every week. You know what I'm saying? Every weekend, let's meet up. Man, you said something where we go to work, we go to church, we do all this stuff. We don't have anywhere we can just come be gods, be kings, be queens, be whatever you want to call it, man. Be conscious. So that's going to be that spot. You know what I'm saying? And that's going to be where you come to get services to get to that next level that we need to get at. So, man, I'm glad everybody enjoyed the show. Y'all tune in next Tuesday. It's going to be another dope show. She's going to be here as long as she blesses me with her presence until she decides she has to go somewhere. Hopefully she don't go nowhere else. You know what I'm saying? But Malk, you got After Dark coming on. Put your kids to sleep if you're going to listen to it. Put them to sleep. Do not let them stay up because they're about to get rash. Exactly.
This is for the creation of children, not for the listening of children.
Exactly. Adults can listen to ratchetness and enjoy it and not go, well, most of us.
Well, yeah.
Most of us. We can listen to the, and we be, like the sister said earlier, she going to twerk for her husband. We can listen to it and go with our respective brothers and do what we do. You know what I'm saying? So if that's you, listen to it. During the day, they got the old 90s. I'm taking your whole monologue, Mal. You tell them what's up, man. Y'all listen to us next Tuesday.
That's okay. I wanted.
And shout out to the ladies on Friday. It was good listening to y'all. What is it? Something over cocktails.
Let's talk coverage over cocktails.
Yeah.
It was good listening to y'all on Friday. So shout out to y'all.
In closing, Brooklyn Sun, NYR has closed already. I want you to close in your own words about the show.
So in reference to today's topic,
yes,
so in reference to today's topic, I'm honestly, in short, stop brutalizing yourself so you will stop accepting being brutalized by others, all others. I don't care what their title is. Nobody has the right to brutalize you, and no one has access to you in that way unless you give them the access. This show is about make it make sense all day, every day, and being honest and real about the who that you are and the role that you play within your own culture. We ain't all got to mix our cultures together. Today was a beautiful, brilliant show, and it was just based on all the forms of brutality. So, yes, of course, we talked about police brutality, and it's nonsense. It has to stop. And if you were being bullied, Mr. Police Officer, we're sorry. We're sorry that you were bullied and brutalized. I'm sure you have some type of insurance. Get you to help, get your ass the help you need and cut the shit out because we not having it from anyone. Not within our community, not outside of our community. It's completely unacceptable. And that's my piece.
Thank you so much, Brooklyn Sun. Thank you so much, Inyar Zulu. Give this man here a follow on Instagram and Facebook. Where, Inyar?
On Instagram is NYZ8556. On Facebook it's Inyar Zulu. And also on Instagram is R.A.U.L.I Radio.
And Miss Brooklyn Sun.
I'm Brooklyn Sun with two N's on both, all day, every day on all platforms.
There you have it, y'all. We have come to the end of the R.A.U.L.I Radio Show with my crooked hat. And we want y'all to tune in every Friday night, every Tuesday night from 8:30 to 10:30. I got sidetracked because Miss Joyce Pinchback Schofield is on the screen. She's one of the ladies on the show that you were shouting out earlier, Brooklyn Sun. She's on Let's Talk Coverage Over Cocktail. She says thank you.
No problem.
Thank y'all for tuning in tonight, y'all. This has been the R.A.U.L.I Radio Show on Real Talk 100 Radio. R.A.U.L.I stands for Rebooting and Uniting Lost Energies. And the host of the show, Mr. Inyar Zulu, explained to you how you can reboot and unite lost energies. If you are someone who wants to unite, if you are somebody who wants to reboot and unite lost energies, all you got to do is reach out to R.A.U.L.I Radio in their inbox and let's unite lost energies, y'all. Y'all, it's time for a change. That's what the show is about tonight. Brutality. Stop police brutality. Stop brutality in your own homes. Stop. Come together, unite. All like minds, all like energy. That's what the show is about, y'all. We got to get out of here. It's time to get home. But this has been a R.A.U.L.I Radio Show starring Inyar Zulu. R.A.U.L.I Radio is the name of the show. And we also have co-host Miss Brooklyn Sun on the far left. Y'all keep it locked to Real Talk 100 Radio the rest of the night, y'all, because we got something for everybody. 90s and 2000s greatest R&B and hip-hop hits. We've got Southern Soul, and we've got underground and independent music artists. It gets a little ratchet after 8 o'clock at night. Y'all keep it locked to Real Talk 100 Radio. We are all about small businesses. We're all about talking about what's real at Real Talk 100 Radio like this show. If you're joining in on the replay, please put hashtag replay in the comments and watch, listen, learn, and join us. Good night, everybody. This is Malcolm from Real Talk 100 Radio. Good night.
Good night.
Good show.